Hello, everybody. Wow, what a morning. Thank you so much for being here. That was fun. I'm trying to assist a colleague, a acquaintance, maybe a buddy, a burgeoning buddiness, who knows. Got to start with acquaintance or a colleague always, and you go from there. But we started today off trying to get another show up on the air. Oh, I didn't hit the button, did I? Well, it wouldn't be a real show if I didn't forget to hit the monetization button, now would it? So let me go over to content here. This is how the sausage is made. Don't mind me. I'm walking you through the details. But here's the important part. As I click save now on the monetization on YouTube, can I ask a favor? Can you hit reset? Can you hit refresh on your browser? Once it goes through the commercial, it'll just put a commercial on your screen, and we get like pennies for that. It won't lose your place in line for the live stream. It's not going to rip you away for a 4-minute ad about rubbing an onion on your foot. But it will throw a little ad in the corner, and as long as that's displayed, it's like a penny in the wishing well or something. So please hit refresh if you're watching on YouTube. This has been a labor of love getting our program remonetized. It has been an uphill battle, but because of you, dear viewer, the New American Media has been able to regain our monetization there. And I am infinitely appreciative of this. What's the point? I can't run a restaurant if nobody comes in for breakfast. I can't run a bar if nobody wants to sit down and grab a drink. Oh, let me change my backdrop here. I was being all professional for my coaching session. Now we'll be back to the bar. Welcome. We're going to talk about all the stories on these TV screens. There we go. Like that. Like that. Everything's mirrored, so it's tough to say. Tough to do. Okay, Marion back, and it had an ad. Perfect. What are you saying, Deb? What kind of fresh hell is this? Kathleen Turner from War of the Roses. Man, that was peak Kathleen Turner in War of the Roses, boy. Let me tell you. Woo-wee. Sort of all downhill from there, but wow, what a snapshot in time. Wasn't she something special? All right, we're back and we have ads. Fantastic. Thanks for being here. What a morning. I believe I was able to successfully walk somebody through the basics and graduate through the 100 level remedial course of how to do what it is I've been doing for 3 years. It's a lot to explain in an hour. It's a lot to explain in 2 hours. But he was able to create content. It did go out. We tested it, at least on X. Fingers crossed. I'm happy about that. I love the teaching aspect of life. Somebody showed me how to do stuff, and I'm trying to distill that to somebody else. So I moved fast from American flags to the bar. I did, didn't I? You know, and had the game gone differently, maybe I would have been throwing Brutus the Buckeye up in the end zone. Maybe they would have been running out at the Ohio State Stadium, huh? The horseshoe? But sadly, that did not happen, so you did not see me with those backdrops. Not this time. All right, everybody. Broadcasting to you live from the Orion spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, somewhere outside of Columbus, Ohio, to be pseudo-specific. Please note, I just said somewhere outside of Columbus. All I'm actually telling you is I'm not in Columbus. Thank you for joining me today. This is Wednesday, December 10th, 2025, and this right here is called the TNAM Daily Show. TNAM, what does that stand for? Well, it stands for the New American Media, because the old American media has failed you by succeeding at being trash, propaganda, lies, control, manipulation, brain damage. Thanks for disconnecting that plug. Good. Removing a little bit of the stranglehold it had on your minds. Never, ever, ever go back to lying legacy media again. They have intentionally been deceiving you, and that's not okay. It's always okay to get a story wrong. It's always okay to consider various points of view. In fact, that's the cornerstone of our American First Amendment. We've got every right, dare I say, nay, nay, I say. No, I didn't say hey. Hey. What's that joke? What do homo horses eat? Hey. Or homosexual horses eat. Hey. All right. Giggity, giggity. Anyway, I digress. Thank you all for being here. It's been a weird morning. I got to be it was an exercise in articulation, coordination, regulation of, I don't know, it was good. It was a good exercise. The exercise we're going to participate in today is going to be dumping out the news. We're going to act like a bunch of trash pandas, rifling through the rubbish, separating fake news from fact. Scrolling at the bottom of your screen, a reminder, the New American Media exists on Instagram, Facebook, Truth Social, Rumble, Odyssey, Twitch, Kick, D-Live, and Locals, and YouTube. The New American Media. Find us in these other platforms, please. We're on Telegram and Signal at TNAM and TNAM Chat. We're on X at American_Media_, and subscribe to our podcast, The Agree to Disagree Show, on Spotify and Apple. Additionally, here at this bar, I am your bartender. It's my job to serve you the news. But yeah, we're going to be trash pandas, rifling through the rubbish, separating fake news from fact. You're going to find baby diapers, and you're going to find a bag of crisp, organic apples. Perfectly great produce. Maybe not touching, because then that would be gross. But like, you know, good things are thrown in the trash. Bad things are thrown in the trash. We got to separate it. There's going to be a lot of stories and viewpoints we don't love. A share, a retweet does not equate to an endorsement. And it's okay to consider multiple perspectives. Dare I say, nay, I say. We must. I know it's more of a Scooby Snack voice. It's more of a raggy. Dare I say, it's our obligation to consider alternate viewpoints. To listen to, I don't know, a Pierce Morgan or a Steven Crowder talk with Nick Fuentes. A Candace Owens talking with Turning Point USA. Should Turning Point actually decide to book the thing they said they agreed to book? Candace Owens and Tim Pool. Conversations, ideas. Good ideas don't require force. Remember that. Good ideas don't require force. And that's sort of the cornerstone of where we find ourselves today, whether it's COVID, digital ID, the caliphate trying to impose Sharia everywhere, every corner of earth. Force does not, good ideas do not require force. And we got to sort this stuff out. So thank you for being here as we unpack the news. Hello, everybody in chat. Thank you so much for being here. Lake Leon, Oko Stream Hub over on Kick. What's up? Okay, hold on. Deb says, I remote viewed you, Brian. I know exactly where you are. Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah. Remote view. The Men Who Stare at Goats. The Men Who Stare at Goats. Deb, did you ever watch that movie? The Men Who Stare at Goats, about remote viewing. It's an interesting topic. I mean, it's Wi-Fi. And by the way, think about this. What would you try to design if you could as a robot? Wouldn't you want a self-replicating thing? That's what the humans are. Yeah, we're more fragile in some ways than a robot made of metal and an operating system, but it's Wi-Fi. Why couldn't we remote view? The things that are happening in tech are the things that could be happening in physiology. Our third eye, the chakras, the Van Allen radiation belt, the parallel universes, alternate dimensions, wormholes, alternate timelines, concurrent timelines. It's so interesting. Now, what is that story, Lake Leon? You said, ask Tim Waltz about anything to do with the horse. What was the story with him and a horse? Did he do horse insemination or something? I remember vaguely. What was the horse thing? All right. Hello, Kenneth. What's up? Trash pander dander? Panders. Trash panders. What is this? I'm learning to build a bushcraft video. Wait, hold on. Are you learning from a bushcraft video? Or are you learning how to build a bushcraft video? Or are you learning how to build things using bushcraft skills? Deb, your comment confused me. The men who date goats? Well, the punchline is right there. I mean, why even bother, right? All right. People, thank you so much for being here. We got a lot of news to talk about today. We're going to talk about President Trump mounting an offensive against the deep state, who are setting traps for all of his appointments, trying to block him from efficacy at every freaking turn. Who's in charge? Unelected bureaucrats from the deep state, as Ketanji Brown Jackson says? From the Supreme Court? Or the voice of we the people? Huh? We're going to talk about it on today's program. So buckle up, grab yourself your favorite beverage, and get ready to be dazzled by all the things you're going to see. Welcome Under the Tent.
Guide to the Truth, the new AmericanMedia.com.
I love it. You know, I really I feel very blessed. You know, I've had this vision of being out of Los Angeles, running a media empire. The control panels, the mechanisms, the lights, the studio, the regulars, the guests, all of it. And we have it here. And it's there's a lot to be grateful for, a lot to be thankful for. As I was teaching somebody else how to do it, you know, it just kind of dawns upon me. I don't need the approval of somebody else to make my opinion heard. I do what I do. And if you like it, you show up, you have fun. Marion, what did you say yesterday that I kept you cracking up? Oh, we need to find video of the lady in green. If somebody wants to find video of that lady in green, tag me on X at American_media_. I do like mimicking her. I like talking like her. Go to school. But if I can bring a couple of chuckles to you, then it's all worth it. I did just see that there's a venue somewhat near me that's doing stand-up comedy. And I sent a message going, oh, let me know the next time you do that. I want to be there for the next one. It's a wild concept to have comedy behind a bar. Anyway, that's what I do here every day. I run comedy from behind the bar. Deb is learning from the video Bushcraft and Survival Shelter Skills. Yes, there we go. Deb, are you on Facebook? And have you found the TNAM preparedness group? This goes to everybody. John and Kenneth and Deb, everybody in chat. Have you found TNAM preparedness? Space in between it, TNAM space preparedness. Hold on, Marion, you're saying yes? You even watched it a second time to laugh more? You go to school. And I mean, like, she's dressed like a vividly dyed Easter egg as well. I mean, it was being assailed by the sense, an assailment of the senses, assaulted by the senses. The interesting voice, the bright, vivid colors. Oh, she was fun. I forget that lady's name, though. So if you find any more video, I'll share it to me and I'll find it in the notifications and I'll mimic a clip. If you find them, I'll do it. That's my test to you. Share it on X at American_media_. I'll reshare it and I will try to recreate that lady. She was a representative from somewhere. I don't recall what state she was from. Go to school. Deb follows on 3 Facebook, X, and YouTube. Excellent. But are you in our group called TNAM Preparedness? It's a group. You should join it because preparedness is one of the most important things that we could be doing with our time. Just trying to level up and make sure that we're strong. I think it's a noble task. Senator Kermit. No, Kenneth. Not Senator Kermit. Or do you mean Patrick Mahomes? Patrick Mahomes. Now I'm changing the accent already. All right, let's move along. Let's jump into the stories that we have. We're going to start off with Elon Musk talking about how he figured out how George Soros is getting to play puppet master on Earth.
It's kind of a hack to the system where...
Oh, and there's music, doggone it.
Someone can get an NGO.
Someone gets an NGO stood up for a fairly small amount of money. Like George Soros is really good at this. George Soros is a system hacker. He figured out how to hack the system. He's a genius at arbitrage. He's pretty old, but a genius at arbitrage. Hang on. Let's ask Grok. Definition of simultaneous purchase and sale of the same or equivalent asset in different markets in order to profit from a temporary difference in price with virtually no risk. Arbitrage. You could leverage a small amount of money to create a nonprofit, then lobby the politicians to send a ton of money to that nonprofit so you can take what might be, a $10 million donation to a nonprofit to create a nonprofit and leverage that into $1 billion GMO. A nonprofit is a weird word. It's just a governmental organization. And then the government continues to fund that every year. And it'll have a nice sounding name like the Institute for Peace or something like that. But really, it's a graft machine. And what are the requirements for that money? What do they have to do? Just literally no requirements at all. They just get grants and the government just assumes that they're doing good work. I think a lot of people in the government know that they're not doing good work. But it's a giant graft machine. Here, I'll put unplug the graft machine button. I don't know this account, but I'll follow it. Why not? I toss out follows like crazy. Not crazy. Like, that was a good clip that I want to hear about how Soros does what he does. What is this now? Candace Owens. Is there volume? I don't hear volume. Is there volume on your side? No. Oh, hold on. Let me go back and do this again. Candace Owens shared these clips. Yesterday was the Feast of the Immaculate Conception. In Catholic world, that's a day of holy obligation. So as soon as my podcast ended, I raced over to church for Mass. I distinctly prayed for a final peace. P-I-E-C-E. Puzzle piece. I prayed for God to give me a piece to the Charlie Kirk mystery that would be a nail in the coffin and expose the cover-up. I went home, had a late dinner, went up to lay in my daughter's for 15 minutes, daughter's room, for 15 minutes before going down to mine, and thought, I'll just check the tips inbox. It was the first email I opened. I genuinely cannot see this as anything other than an immediately answered prayer. And you know how prayer is, oh, how convenient, you and your God. Yeah, how convenient, people say. The mockers of religion. She says she gets a story from a man in the military that is about to blow this case open. It feels like today will be the day that the government can no longer deny it. Charlie Kirk was assassinated and our military was involved. I can't wait to share this information with you guys today. Colin Rugg reports Candace Owens now claims she has proof the U.S. military was involved in Charlie Kirk's assassination. That's a good point. The comments. So now it was America, says Flashy News. What happened to all that other proof that it was France? No, it was Israel, because Israel does everything according to the thanks Obama people. No, it was Egypt. There were Egyptian planes. Like, what are we? Are these South Park manatees just coming up with random ideas and putting them together? Red asks, are her children safe around her? Savage says, someone check on Candace. She's not okay. Flashy says, OMG, not the anonymous emails. D. Gray says, why would the Trump admin be involved in the assassination of a guy who helped him get elected? The M says, I've lost track of who's to blame in her mind. Kasich says, she always has some piece of new evidence that's going to blow this case wide open. It's becoming exhausting. And she's becoming more and more unhinged. I was interested because what happened to Charlie was devastating and he deserves justice, but I just can't listen to her anymore. Remember, if you can see it, they wanted you to see it. Oh, that's a great point. Hi, Nimbus. You want to come up? Or do you want to sit on the chair? You want to come up here? Come on. I'll bring you up. You good, bud? Yeah? Hi. Just tending to my my buddy Nimbus. You good, bud? All right. So that's new on the Candace front, everybody. Here we are. This is going to be, well, what is this? Laura Logan? Thank you to Nicole Pearson, Esquire. Here we go.
It's going to shock you, but it was the Gates Foundation. Yep. So what did they unveil this week? A globally interoperable digital identity infrastructure that permanently tracks every individual's vaccine status from birth. If you think because Donald Trump is in the White House that they have paused for one single moment, I am here to make it very clear to you that that is not accurate. This agenda is moving forward at high speed. Some things have been slightly derailed, but the strategy to counter that is to stall and stall and stall. You should know that none of his executive orders have been legislated. Not one. And if you think there's 3 more years, I wouldn't count on it. Because the plan is to take the midterms and impeach him. And what he'll be impeached for will shock you. Because fabricating crimes didn't work so well last time, did it? Didn't work. This time it's going to work. You want to know why? What's the one thing everybody in this room wants? How about accountability? Why is it the one thing that matters? Because nothing you're doing, nothing I've ever done, is going to matter if we don't have accountability. Because what is accountability going to do? If we don't have accountability, all of the people who did what they did during COVID are going to do it again. The Gavin Newsoms of this world are just going to keep passing more laws that take more of your freedom away. And somebody said something about why it's California. I'll tell you why it's California. Because you're the closest to a Marxist society in this country. You are the Marxist state of America. And this is the testing ground for all of these systems. Who runs the elections in Los Angeles? That's correct. That is actually correct. How do they do it? Through Smartmatic. Why is Los Angeles the only place in America where Smartmatic still runs the elections? Not because there aren't other types of fraud in other places, but because California is the testing ground for how to create these things and proliferate them at scale and then push them beyond. There are 22 states in this country that are currently under Democratic control, and at least 2 or 3 that are rhinos that vote with the Democrats. How many states does it take to change the Constitution? 2/3. 2/3 majority. So if you think you're safe, you're not safe. Not even close to being safe. And this program, this is going to shock you, but it was the Gates Foundation.
So, I mean, we are running very fast toward this. What are the comments about Smartmatic in Venezuela, talking about digital ID, pandemic, Gates, Fauci, Tedros, pandemic 2.0 on the way, question mark. F no to this digital tracking. Why do they want this? What's the end game? I'd love to hear her entire lecture. She's always spot on. Why is Gates not on trial for crimes against humanity? Well, that's what I'm asking about Fauci for sure. I mean, we're all investigating. Marion says, why can't Doge or the government stop the waste, fraud, and abuse? And the abuse, I guess, of our civil liberties, too. That would be the hope. Biasmatics. Yeah, digital IV. Ooh, I wonder if you could get a digital IV. And you got DVDs, and then you got IUDs, IEDs, STDs. You got all sorts of digital IV. It's a good phrase. I don't know what to do with it, but I like the phrase. Oh, check this out. This might be AI. How did they get this in without... Did they cover this up when they walked in?
What is going on right now? Oh, God, he's freaking out the collar. Oh, we're on the big screen. Look at it. Fan cam, jacket cam. KC, baby. Woo. What is going on?
Necessary gear for when your kingdom collapses. Yeah, the Chiefs are sucking right now. How did no one impulsively pop these? Yeah, it looks like AI, but what a good idea to fill your jacket with beer. That's an awesome idea. If that's not an actual product, shut up and take my money. I'm all in. All right, let's... Alex wants to know, tells us that this British judge is named Andrew Maneri. Did you see this case yesterday? We played it. Digital bidet. Nimbus, what do you want, bud? You want to come up? You want to come up or you want to go over here? Here, I'll bring you up. Here we go. Hi, guy. Hello. Everybody say hi to Nimbus. He's reaching with his paw. Here, I'll give you this. No bite, no bite, no bite. He really wants to bite. He's being nice. So this is the British judge, Andrew Maneri. He has gone viral for his political speech today in sentencing Joey Barton. The same judge let a pedo named Callum Latimer, 23 years old, allegedly, avoid prison. Oh, thanks, buddy. He was found with 165 indecent pictures and videos, including 58 category A, which is the most disgusting, vile, serious category. Allegedly, this Callum Latimer, according to this poster at Unity News Net, I'm not sure if that's true or not, but the accusation is here. He also had 1,578 prohibited images of children, some of which showed young girls aged between 3 and 10. And he was given a suspended sentence. This is British justice. Wow, that comment. Wood chipper and the wig too. Canada's no better. 1 year for making horrific videos. Only 1 year. Okay, no biting, bud. They wear funny hats like an... Okay, now. Yeah, does he probably have his own collection? Check his hard drive, would you? Check his hard drive. Britain has fallen. We can't... Okay. Can't lose that in our country. And right now, President Trump is battling the judiciary and the Supreme Court. Like we're going to cover these stories coming up today. So let's keep it rolling. So people are wondering, how did they find out? Snowflake Tears put this up. Ahmed Y posts, protesters show up exactly when and where ICE and the Border Patrol agents did. Someone find the leakers and fire them already.
We're on Maple.
Why is this mob showing up as soon as ICE and Border Patrol gets to these places? Who's funding this? Is this a Soros group? A Soros type of group? An NGO that's very governmental because they're getting the government funding? They're being weaponized against us? Is that what's happening?
SRT, let's move! Go back, go back!
Do not attack the agents! Do not attack the agents! I'm trying to help! Okay?
608.
Yeah. Interfering with immigrations and customs. Who's telling them? How are they getting there so fast? All right, by the way, remember this story? Now that we're learning more and more about Minnesota and the immigration fraud and the theft, the piracy that's been happening in Minnesota, watch this clip again.
Who remembers when I made this video?
Were shot and killed early this morning in what appears to be a politically motivated assassination.
And by the way, remember when that happened? See, I went to a church and that guy tried to pull some whataboutism. He's like, well, it's happening on both sides. See, you know what happened? It was, you know, a Democrat suffered too in Minnesota. So, you know, what's happening on both sides. No. This was the left targeting the left. Who's the common denominator? The left, the violent left.
So as you can see, Tim Walz made a statement on his X account saying that this was politically motivated.
I actually went to a church that said, well, you know, there's some, he was doing the whataboutism. Well, it's on both sides, you know, both sides need to, there's too much violence. You know, we saw Charlie Kirk, obviously, and, you know, I'm sure you all know about the Democrat that suffered at the hands of political violence too. So, you know, it's like both sides. I'm not like going to defend Charlie Kirk or the Republicans or anything. I have too many liberal donors inside this church. I'm a pathetic fool, says the pastor. I called him and that's what he did. It wasn't the right that took these people out. It was the left. Key common denominator of the violence, the left.
And then deleted the post. My first question when I heard about this story was,
What was the vote over? Well, let me show you what the vote was over.
Over.
My bad vote. And I'm
Representative Melissa Hortman voted with Republicans to cut health care for adult illegal aliens just days before being assassinated. She is terrified in this video. She's been threatened, like all of them have. Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. You do it and you know what's going to happen to you. Listen to her in absolute panic, fear over her own side going to snuff her out.
we worked very hard to try to get a budget deal.
Her voice is quivering.
That wouldn't include that provision.
DFL Speaker Emerita Melissa Hortman emotional following the House's adjournment from a special session Monday. Hortman was the lone DFL lawmaker to...
There's music in the back, so I got to break it up, but I don't know what DFL, what is DFL? Democrat refers to the Minnesota State Legislature, either in the House or the Senate. Democrat Farmer Labor Party. Democrat Farmer Labor. I don't know what DFL is. Okay.
to cast a vote to cut Minnesota Care access for undocumented immigrants.
Illegal alien invaders.
It's a move she made with a heavy heart.
The terror in her voice, and she was absolutely targeted right after. Just days before.
I did what leaders do. I stepped up and I got the job done for the people of Minnesota.
The bill was deep.
And now
that couple, they lost their lives. You heard her, right? She said she was trying to do the right thing for the people of Minnesota. Let me play the beginning of that. That's the most terrified part of the clip again. Coming up here. I'm going to unmute it.
bunch of frauds uncovered.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was something different. She's just connecting the dots. Yeah, now there's so much fraud being uncovered in Minnesota, and you go, well, they took her out. What is it they're not going to be willing to do now that they've conquered and overthrown one of our 50 U.S. states? Minnesota's been overthrown by Somalians, by foreign influence. One of our 50 states, 2% of America has been lost. All of the fraud, all of the theft, all of the abuse.
All surrounding Tim Walz. And now he's on TV crying that.
And by the way, somebody as corrupt as Tim Walz is the only type of person you could let get close to a VP position because you're completely compromised. You don't do what you want. You do what you're told. And you have so much dirt on you. You have so much criminality in your closet. You can't dare ever speak out against the machine because you're equally, if not more so, compromised.
People are driving past his house calling him an R-word. Borrowed your video, Aunt.
Creates danger.
Okay, well.
On this.
Too much music, can't play it. Anyway, you get the point. Just let's keep our eyes peeled on what's happening in Minnesota.
Oh, I have chopped.
So here's a dash cam showing a plane landing on top of a car on Interstate 95 in Brevard County. Is this Florida?
I swear.
Look at that.
Oh my goodness. 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 A plane just crashed onto a highway. On a highway right in front of us. Holy
wow.
They look like they're okay.
Wow. Oh, I have chops, I swear. Oh my goodness. 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 A plane just crashed onto a highway. On a highway right in front of us. Holy
new fear unlocked. Yeah.
Wow.
They look like they're okay.
Wow. Oh, I have chops, I swear. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my
But remember, our freeway systems were designed so that planes had emergency landing takeoff and landing locations. Should we enter a world war, you have east and west, north and south. You got places for, there's certain parameters. You have to be a certain width so that it can handle in times of distress. And it's very smart that we have our nation set up this way. I hope they're both okay. I mean, that did crush that guy's car. That's wild footage, is it not? Ray says, only in America. National Conservative reports that today in 2015, Logan Tipton was 6 years old and he was K'd when a home invader, Ronald X. Santis, destroyed him in his sleep for the fun of it. In 2025, KDOC ordered his release and shipped him to Florida. The Broward County Sheriff's Office shipped him back to Kentucky, and he will be released again in 2026. His name is Cannon Hinnant. A white little boy was playing with his sister in his yard in 2020. So hold on. One says it's in his sleep. One says it's in his yard. There's a lot of misreporting here. But Elon chimed in. Elon usually only chimes in on accurate stories, but there are some discrepancies here. Darius Sessions allegedly essed him in the head in an unprovoked attack. It was a neighbor as he was simply playing in his parents' front yard. That's awful. Ray says, only in America, a black man can now kill a white child in front of his family, be found not guilty of murder by reason of insanity, and then be back out on the street. Elon says, allowing someone murderously insane back on the streets is itself insane. A lot of Elon in the news today talking about Charlie Kirk.
Something extremely ordinary, like go to Target or CVS.
I can't go to things where there's the general public because there's an immediate, can I have a selfie line that forms. And these days, particularly in light of Charlie Kirk's murder, there are serious security issues. It's not that I don't want to, I simply can't.
That is sad. When you reach that stage and your life isn't even yours anymore. It shouldn't have to be this way. Not this many people need to be involved to try to save us from all this theft and corruption.
Has Charlie's murder changed how you do things? Or were you already locked down pretty well before that?
It certainly reinforced the severity of the situation where life is on hardcore mode. You make one mistake and you're dead. And it only takes one mistake.
You did something extremely ordinary.
Yeah, that's tough that we've entered that stage, isn't it? Huh. Yeah, you sort of become a prisoner. I mean, ask Tim Pool. Tim Pool, like he's getting attacked. Like, no, like this is bullshit. We need to demand more out of society. And we need to be harsh about the people that are violating the norms of violence. Harsh. String them up publicly. Make an example out of them. Let the let the vultures handle the carcass over the next couple of days. Leave them there. Remind the rest of the domestic terrorists what happens if you mess around. But instead, we have 55 unanswered questions about Charlie Kirk, which leads to Candace throwing everything up against the wall to see if any of it sticks. All right. Here's Victor Davis Hanson talking about what Trump just did to Ilhan Omar. This is interesting.
People only catch the headline. What just happened in Minnesota is one of those moments. Because while many Americans saw a headline about Trump ending a program for Somali immigrants, very few understood why he did it, how it connects to Ilhan Omar's district, and what kind of investigation triggered it behind the scenes. This isn't a small administrative adjustment. This is a decisive move aimed at dismantling a network that federal investigators say has been draining taxpayer funds, rerouting money overseas, and destabilizing an entire region of the state. Trump just shut down a program affecting hundreds of people tied to a fraud network with somewhere between 250 and 300 million. And somehow all of it circles back to Minneapolis and a political figure whose district is now under more scrutiny than at any time in recent memory. Today, I'm going to walk you through exactly what happened, why so few outlets are explaining the real reason behind Trump's decision, and why this could reshape the political future of Ilhan Omar and Minnesota as a whole. And I want to do this in a way that makes sense, because this story matters to every American who pays taxes, who trusts their government to manage programs honestly, and who wonders what happens when those systems break down. So let's start at the beginning. What actually triggered all of this? What made the President of the United States look at one state, one community, and say enough? Trump announced he was terminating something called temporary protected status for Somali immigrants living in Minnesota, effective immediately. Now, if you're not familiar with TPS, it's essentially a legal shield the government grants to people from countries facing disaster or conflict. It allows them to stay in America temporarily without fear of deportation. It's meant to be compassionate, humane, a safety net for people fleeing genuine danger. But here's where things took a hard turn. Trump cited large-scale welfare fraud, money laundering, and the discovery that millions of taxpayer dollars had been funneled into overseas networks, some even reaching extremist groups, according to federal reports. He wasn't just ending a program, he was responding to something much bigger. Most people only catch the headline. What just happened in Minnesota is one of those moments. Because while many Americans saw a headline about Trump ending a program for Somali immigrants, very few understood why he did it, how it connects to Ilhan Omar's district, and what kind of investigation triggered it behind the scenes. This isn't a small administrative adjustment. This is a decisive move aimed at dismantling a network that federal investigators say has been draining taxpayer funds, rerouting money overseas, and destabilizing an entire region of the state. Trump just shut down a program affecting hundreds of people tied to a fraud network with somewhere between 250 and 300 million. And somehow all of it circles back to Minneapolis and a political figure whose district is now under more scrutiny than at any time in recent memory. Today, I'm going to walk you through exactly.
All right, Victor Davis Hanson in his monotone way reset that. All eyes on Minneapolis. It's sort of the test case, right? It's sort of the test case. Victor Davis Hanson is good. His analysis is solid. You should follow him. Yeah, you're right, though. Will there be any arrests? Where are the effing arrests? Button. Hopefully get it figured out. Folks in the UK are acting more American than Americans, says one poster. Hoplite Armor. I don't know this account. I am following it. Some sort of armor. Doncaster, England. It says the people are done with the crap.
We're going inside the hotel.
We're going inside the hotel. Is this an illegal alien hotel? M Glass says the cops deserve every bit of this, arresting people for memes and TV licenses and hurt feelings. Help I'm on Fire says keep protesting all the way to Parliament and take your country back.
Gone inside.
The people are sick of what's happened, and they've lost sovereignty over their nation. This is the Obama doctrine. They flooded sovereign nations with non-citizens to change them forever. We're 5 days away from fundamentally transforming the United States of America. You know, a lot of y'all Americans, you say, look at what I built. Look at this nation. Well, I'm here to say, you didn't build that. You didn't build that. So we're going to build back better. I told Michelle the other day, the original sin of America, half of my lineage just hates the other half because reasons. I'm half white, I'm half black. You know me as Obama, but you ever see that meme where it says, what does that say, Michelle? What's that, Michelle? There are two wolves living inside of you. One is white and one is black. I've mixed race, my mom and my dad, Stanley Ann Dunham, and whoever my dad actually is, dreams from my real father. Which wolf wins? And Frank Marshall Davis, the guiding light. No, not Frank Marshall Davis. I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud? I'm sorry, Mike. I'm sorry, Michelle. Did I say that out loud? Look, here's the thing. The Reverend William Ayers, gave me that spiritual guidance that I needed at the cornerstone of my life. I mean, wait, shit. Did I say that out loud? No, he's a domestic terrorist too. Shit. Look, somebody somewhere really smart once told me, which wolf is going to win? Kind of feels some days like you're getting the old okey doke. I'm not going to get the okey doke, but which wolf wins? The black wolf or the white wolf? It's the one that you feed. It's the one that you feed. So, look, hoppity hope, blah-diddy blah, changeity change. Look, I'm slender. I wear a suit really well. Sort of a dope for brains, mush for brains, but I can read a teleprompter well. Hoppity hope, changeity change. We are 5 days away from fundamentally transforming every sovereign nation on earth through NGOs and fake migration crises. So, Bush was bad. Bush was bad. So vote for me. Because John McCain bad, Mitt Romney bad, or derpity-doo, whatever. We're 5 days away from fundamentally transforming every sovereign nation on earth. Some said I'm the Antichrist, the literal Antichrist. Maybe you have to believe in Christ to believe that you could be an Antichrist, in which case, I don't know. You weren't there in Indonesia when I was learning what moral compass. Now, maybe today I identify as Christian, and Michelle identifies as a woman. Read her book, Becoming. Anybody can become anything you want. Except white people can't become good in America because of some original sin that has nothing to do with them. Don't forget that. We're not going to get the old okey doke there. We know. And we're going to be angry forever. It's not fair when people judge certain people for what they look like, but it's totally fair to judge white people, white Americans too, but white people everywhere. And that's why we're 5 days away from fundamentally transforming every sovereign nation on earth through fake migration crises. So, vote for me. Vote for me. Marion says, yes, arrest, fines, everything in between, including deportation, banned from returning to the USA if they ever get out of prison. Doncaster, England. By the way, question of the day, grade my Obama, 1 through 10. Give me a letter grade. And it can be like a 0.4 or a 0.8 or something. Give me a grade on my Obama. I haven't done the Obama for a while. So saying this is a hotel, I think. Is this a hotel that's being used to stage the illegal alien invaders who are destroying the purity of their daughters and their sisters and their mothers and their grandmothers? You know, through assaults over and over and over and over and over again from people who should have never been in your country to begin with. Yeah. All right. You know, gotta say, Kenneth, you know, Michelle and I, we really appreciate that right there. If you're listening, maybe not watching, you can't see it. But right up there on the screen in the corner, Kenneth said QOTD. 8.5. You know, I'll take that. That's all right. 8.5, you know, coincidentally, that's the number of millions of illegal aliens that are going to get on my Obamacare. You know, once I gave that carve out to, the insurance companies, 8.5 million, but that's per year. Look, Cloward and Piven, they told you, cripple the system, overwhelm, too many people taking, not enough people making. And that's the strategy. You know, America tried to, give us the old okey doke away, but we're going to get them. We're going to fundamentally transform this nation. It's evil, and it's been evil. At least that's what one wolf inside of me says to the other wolf. The other wolf is like, come on, man. I didn't build that. And then the other wolf says, shut up, Whitey. You did build that. But I thought you said you didn't build that. Yeah, but you did build that. Yeah, but I didn't. Look, it's a little convoluted. But Michelle says 8.5. That's a thumbs up. That's a thumbs up. Marion, thank you from the bottom of my heart. If I had one. Not sure Antichrist do, but look, if I had a heart, it would be right there. Si se puede, or hopity hope, or changeity change. I don't know. What do you fuckers want to hear? Add the pablum. What do they say? There you go. But look, that's a 9. That's one click up. From what Kenneth said. I'd say that makes you a little bit smarter than the other guy. Frankly, thank you to both, but I think you're pretty spot on with that 9. Thank you so much. Yeah, you're right, though. It is hard to tell what's going on in that video, and I did put that as a question mark. What's the context of this? But in the comments, it did say that residents are fed up. I think it's a migrant hotel. An illegal alien invasion squatting dumping zone. So they're raiding the hotel. They don't want that. I mean, why would anyone want that in their neighborhood? I wouldn't. Patriot Warrior. There he is. Sort of like, Jimmy Superfly Snuka. Remember that guy? I told Michelle the other day, there's a lot of those, we used to call them WWF. But now they're WWE. The off the top rope with an elbow. Jimmy Superfly Snuka. There's Patriot Warrior giving you a 9, saying that's a decent Obama. It's an all right Obama. That's a very good Obama. You could have had a 10. Some people said Bathhouse Barry. Look, you could have had a 10. What was that guy's name that Larry Sinclair. Maybe he was a 10. Back during my alleged bathhouse Berry days. Maybe I could have got a 10. But, you know, Michelle is the 10 of my heart. You know, becoming, you know, she was able to become this wonderful human that you see here today. The mother, yeah, I said mother, of my children that are completely legitimately mine. As proven with DNA, both of us, Michelle and I, you know, becoming. You know, she's a 10. I'm gonna say Michelle's a 10. No, it was a full +9. Patriot where Big Mike has a solid 10. All right, stop it. You guys are just, you know, that's a little out of bounds. You know, we got to maintain some decorum here. You know, we can't just come out giving each other the old okie doke. The old okie doke. Oh, come on. Why did I dance like that? Don't clip that and put it on, you know, that thing Al Gore created, the internet. The internet. Don't put it on the Al Gore internet. Don't do that. Whew. I love Obama voice. It's fun. Honestly, I don't think your Obama's all that good. Maybe it's an 8.3. Maybe early on you had some Tylenol that maybe brought you down a couple of pegs, in my humble estimation. All right. Hello. On James O'Keefe, talking about tax-deductible donations. Nope. Talking about immediate retraction requests. Oh. Whatever he's up to, we're listening.
Everyone, welcome back to the infamous Wall of Shame, where journalists' reputations go to die, where journalists are forced to print retractions in articles, news reports, and even late-night shows questioning our journalism ethics. Today's retracto goes to Jen Psaki and Stephen Colbert.
James O'Keefe, who is, you may remember from publishing Ashley Biden's diary. He's also in the press.
So those are the... Oh, also. Oh, is he? Is he ABC? ESPN Disney? Is he? Gotcha. James O'Keefe. Remember he published the diary that outed how creepy your fucking father is? Yeah, we remember. That whole creepy family. Rotten from the neck down, starting with Joe Biden. Oh, yeah, we remember.
Clowns that got in there now.
Wrong.
Wrong, though. Stephen Colbert, Jen Psaki.
We never published the diary. You lose, you get nothing. Good day, sir. Cue the Retracto theme song.
Retracto, the correction alpaca.
I hope that's not music that's copyrighted or something.
So in this late night show, which I didn't even know Stephen Colbert was still on the show until my staff told me that.
Yeah, I thought it was off.
Jen Psaki says this.
The Pentagon put out a directive this year saying you got to sign an oath, essentially, of loyalty to Pete Hegseth, and you can't report anything that we don't approve of the Pentagon, or else we're pulling your passage and you can't come back into the Pentagon. So now they just got...
Exactly.
It's like Matt Gaetz and Laura Loomer in there now, right?
Not just like, they are literally in there. And James O'Keefe, who is, you may remember from publishing Ashley Biden's diary. He's also in the press.
So those are the clowns that got in there now.
That's a lie. In fact, we never published the diary. And this is a copy of the email I sent to my team, dated October 12th, 2020. Quote, in this case, even more harm will be done to the person in question, that's Ashley Biden, and Project Veritas if we were to release this piece. We have no doubt the document is real, but it's impossible to corroborate the allegations that she wrote in the diary, and the subsequent reactions would be characterized as a cheap shot. It is a matter of fact that we did not publish this document. We are formally requesting a retraction from Jen Psaki, like suck it to me, baby, sock the retracto onto you, baby, and Stephen Colbert of The Late Show. We would like you to formally apologize to lying to your viewers, accusing me of precisely what you yourself are guilty of. And by the way, we did not plead any loyalty test to the Secretary of War. We're doing the same thing that you do. We showed up and I asked a difficult question. Nicholas Terza, branch chief here at the Pentagon, was caught on a video in the spring stating, quote, Trump is illegitimate. We're going to resist him, quote, everything he does. We know there are other people like this that work here. My question is, what steps is the Department of War taking to identify and address personnel who are in the self-described resistance movement? You should be ashamed of yourself. But that's...
By the way, the lady didn't answer that question. They're not taking steps. They're not arresting people. What is going on? Why are they not arresting the people?
It's not the only time that Jen Psaki lied. Let's go to the tape of, is this MSNBC? I don't even know what MS Now is, but let's go to it. Let's watch it. Go ahead. Play the tape.
Well, the so-called new Pentagon press corps inside the Pentagon itself.
So-called? Man, this Jen Psaki just will not go away. Oh, is she awful.
Got diddly squat. There's also far-right political activist James O'Keefe.
What exactly is far-right about anything that I've ever said or done? I don't go on the Late Show, Jen Psaki, and lie to all those people. I didn't lie to people like you just did.
And you might remember him as the leader of the group that published the stolen diary of President Biden's daughter, Ashley Biden, just days before the 2020 election.
That's false. That's absolutely unequivocally false. We just went over this. A group called National File published the story. It just isn't true. And that's why we're asking Jen Psaki to publish a retraction. By the way, why is Jen Psaki so obsessed with me? Does she want to date me? More on that soon.
Oh.
Be careful of who you talk to, Jen.
What?
They might be wearing a hidden camera.
What?
So not only are we getting a retraction from the late night show, we're getting tracking. I've never even heard. Have you ever heard of this? I didn't know what that was. MS Now? I don't know what that means. So as a result of your lies and deception, we are going to mail you a retracto. For those of you who want one, you don't get them unless you lie about me. See, what you begin to realize is these journalists are guilty of precisely what they accuse me of. It's called projection. All of this could have been avoided, Jen Psaki, Stephen Colbert. All of this could have been avoided if you just stuck to the facts, but instead you get this. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the infamous Wall of Shame.
All right, holding them accountable. I'm here for it. Oh, I'm here for it. And yeah, we had every right to know about what the accusations were that Ashley Biden was scared to shower at her house because her dad would take what was described as inappropriate showers with her. And you wonder how Hunter Biden turned into such a creepy degenerate with all of the videos of him with prostitutes and all the drugs allegedly on the laptop from hell. The laptop from hell. They said, sir, have you even looked at the laptop? Rudy, one of the best, Giuliani, came up with the laptop. They said, this dope, Hunter Biden, left it at the repair shop. This guy wants to stay in the White House with all of this floating around. Hunter is a crackhead. Sir, I say so. Well, sir, I say sir. I got foghorn leghorn, right? Sir, I said sir. A little bit of a southern gentleman in there. Well, I said, sir, I said sir. They said sir. That is my go-to. All right. Let's go ahead and switch over now to our X account and go through the rest of the stuff in the news, people. Please like all of us, all of the channels, all of the accounts. Link up with us. Share the show. Text the link to a friend. And by the way, a quick reminder that we do have Rumble, rants, and Super Chats available. If you are feeling kind this Christmas season, it all makes a big difference. Dig real deep and throw a $100 bill on the table. Who will be the first $100 bill thrower? Actually, it's all appreciated, so thank you regardless. But it is the holiday season. Thank you all. All right, let's scroll through here. This is the link to our Patreon feed at the very top of our X account at American_media_. We have people who've signed up for Patreon for free accounts, and then people who have signed up to donate per publishing. So thank you for all of you who have signed up. And At the very least, please go to Patreon and sign up for our free account. And if you're feeling feisty, sign up for the other one. It's like $10 a month for the little account, which is cool. It all adds up. All right. NPR here. Let's click on this link. FBI agents are now suing after being fired for kneeling during a racial justice protest. All these people with FBI markings on them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, actively joining the mob. You've joined the mob at that point. You've taken that organization and gone political. 12 FBI agents who were fired this year for taking a knee during racial justice protests. No, it wasn't racial justice protests. It was Democrat, AstroTurf, anti-Trump, hyper-magnify one story incessantly so we can push for national chaos organization. Protests. Domestic terrorism. In the heated summer of 2020. They're suing the Bureau and its director alleging unlawful retaliation. Imagine the nerve of these people. This written by NPR. The former special agents, who together have nearly 200 years of experience, once received awards for helping disrupt mass shootings, expose foreign spies, and thwart cyber attacks. Huh? Oh, okay, great. Such a flowery introduction to people who join the mob. But they say, as elite federal law enforcement agents, they never received training on crowd control. Nor do they have riot shields or gas masks or helmets when they face down volatile crowds in the streets of Washington, D.C. in June of 2020. Well, maybe you could have called off your Democrats who were doing all the chaos, huh? Maybe you could have asked your lying legacy media to stop fanning the flames, but no. I'm sure it's a Republican problem, right? Democrats destroyed blue cities, and now the Democrats who are kneeling with them are complaining. Huh. A lawsuit filed in federal court in Washington on Monday described the small group of FBI agents as vastly outnumbered and literally backed against the wall of the National Archives building as unrest. What, Nimbus? Come on. Come on. Come on. You're going to meow during my... Do you hear him? Oh, come on. Jump up. Come on. Right here. Come on. All right. There we go. We'll hang out here. The lawsuit filed in federal court in Washington on Monday described the small group of FBI agents as vastly outnumbered, literally backed against the wall of the National Archives building as unrest swept the country over the murder of George Floyd. Well, it was the death of George Floyd. He wasn't allowed to present the evidence that said he was trained to do the exact technique that was done. And if you watch that whole video in its entirety, you'll see that there was apparently, it seemed to me from watching it, from the moment they approached the vehicle, that the man was hyperventilating or having an overdose or having a panic attack or having a heart attack or some sort of, he repeatedly said, I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. Get me out of here. I can't go back there. I can't breathe. Like this, he was having a medical event that had nothing to do with anything done. Yeah, the officer was convicted, but he's asking for a trial where he can say, this is how Minneapolis trained us to deal with people that were in these situations. Court papers said that these people knelt. They kneeled not to reflect a left-wing political point of view, but rather to de-escalate a situation that threatened to spin out of control. So if you have an invading horde of barbarians, you kneel and succumb to them. You bow to them. You let them win. De-escalate a situation threatening to spin out of control. Mindful of the potentially catastrophic consequences, plaintiffs knew that a split-second misjudgment by any of them could ignite an already charged national climate and trigger further violence and unrest, said the lawsuit filed by former Justice Department prosecutor Mary Dorman of the Washington Litigation Group. Justice Department Inspector General reviewed the incident in 24 and found no misconduct. Oh, did they? Oh, in 24. Yeah, under the regime that seized control of our nation and broke everything that it could. But the episode went viral on social media, attracting critics who cast the kneeling as a political act. No, because it was. They did it to themselves. Before he returned to the White House, President Trump also posted a negative story about the matter. Well, yeah, they joined the mob, the Democrat mob. Soon after new FBI Director Kash Patel joined the Bureau this year, lawsuit said he began targeting the agents involved in the episode for This is a horribly written letter or article. Justice, they're calling it retaliation. Several of the plaintiffs were yanked from supervisory roles at the FBI. Yes, you have no judgment. Officials launched a new investigation. The matter was still pending when they were all fired in September, shortcutting typical procedures for FBI misconduct probes. I think we saw everything we needed to see. In their dismissal letters, Patel wrote, "You have demonstrated unprofessional conduct and a lack of impartiality in carrying out your duties, leading to the political weaponization of government." Yeah. During his confirmation hearing, Patel told senators he would honor the internal review process, but the lawsuit accuses him of breaking that pledge for his own political purposes. Yeah, he's in charge. He made the determination these are people unfit, and they are unfit. The abrupt departure of the fired agents disrupted important work. What, like siding with the violent Democrat mob? Oh, that's important work, all right. Including evidence collection in Utah following the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk in efforts to support the Trump administration's executive order on making the District of Columbia safe and beautiful, the court papers said. Yeah, well, removing people clearly unqualified, incapable of working in that capacity, that's a net positive. You got to get rid of the old bad to start any of the new good. Case alleges violations, First Amendment rights to free association. Yeah, we have the right to freely join a mob in the middle of our law enforcement activities. We need to support the Democrats. We have a right to do that while we're on the job, while we're wearing FBI gear. Sure you are. They want reinstated and they want back pay. No, thank you. Deuces. Sayonara. All right. Dave Rubin here says, I've known Timcast for 10 years and I've never seen anything close to this level of emotion. Good on him for not only calling out Candace Owens, but also the right-wing grifters who have refused to say a word about any of this lunacy. Eventually the tides will turn and they'll all pretend they were on the right side. It's on you, the audience, to not forget. So here's Tim Pool going nuclear on Candace Owens. Is this deserved?
Candace Owens is a fucking evil scumbag. She is a degenerate cunt. She is burning everything down, and she's gloating and smiling while she does it. And you know what you fucking told me? She has no security. She doesn't fucking deal with the shit we have to deal with. She's a piece of shit. She's making everyone else suffer. And all of these fucking conservatives out there that send me these fucking messages have no fucking balls to call her out. More and more people have started doing it. They send me these fucking messages. Good for you, Tim. Good for you, Tim. I wasn't the first person to do it. I'm not going to take credit for that. But don't fucking DM me like I did something for you as you cower, as you fucking cower, scared that she'll put you on her thumbnail and claim you benefited from Charlie Kirk's assassination, which he's doing to me right fucking now.
Yeah, that was the...
I'm fucking done with these people.
She has security, just not on the level of you.
Oh, yeah, the one fat guy you mentioned with no wall and no barrier in a suburban neighborhood with neighbors. She doesn't give two fucking shits. No one's out for her. She's lying about all of this. You told me you went to her house and she's got a 4-foot wall and one fat guy, and she doesn't give a shit about her security. Meanwhile, I get bullets fired at my fucking property and I have to go live in the middle of nowhere. And I got fucking strangers coming up to my house in Maryland, breaking in. I got people showing up and beating up the residents who trying to live there. How the fuck am I even supposed to sell this property? And you know, it's all lies. It's all hypocrisy. And it is for the purpose of making money. And she does not live the way other people live. And she claims she liked Charlie. She loved Charlie. And she is burning everything down that he built because she is evil. She is evil. And I'll say it again. This conservative movement is fractured. It's fried, whatever it is. Okay? Republicans are on track to lose the midterms. They were actually trending in the other direction until Charlie Kirk was murdered.
Yeah.
And this is the point, isn't it? The most effective political assassination in history. And thanks to the likes of the vile cunt Candace Owens, she has turned Turning Point into the perpetrators of the crime that was against them. I don't get paid by any of these people. I'm not on good terms necessarily with Turning Point USA. They didn't invite me to their stupid event. I don't want to go. I don't want to go.
Yeah, you do, Tim. Yeah, you do. And your ego was hurt that you didn't. Full disclosure, I'm not a big Tim Pool fan. Met him, wasn't impressed. He wasn't cool to me in any regard. And of course it matters to him. I've been at the libertarian events where he gets the special press access line. You know, it gets the quick Trump interview. He's connected in ways that nobody else is. He thinks he's better than other people. He does a good job on his show. There's a lot of people doing a lot of really good jobs on their shows. Frankly, it's a little confusing how he gets such a market share of alternative media. He's all right. He's good at what he does. He's all right. He's good. He's very good. A lot of people are very good. I'm sorry. But so like I have a personal angle that I'm taking. I'm letting my own personal feelings about Tim jump in here, but he's talking about TPUSA. He's not necessarily on good terms. And right here, he's belittling, their little thing. Yeah, I didn't want to go anyway. But yeah, you did. You're mad that you didn't get picked for the basketball team at recess.
Was murdered.
Yeah.
And this is the point, isn't it? The most effective political assassination in history. And thanks to the likes of the vile cunt Candace Owens, she has turned Turning Point into the perpetrators of the crime that was against them. I don't get paid by any of these people. I'm not on good terms necessarily with Turning Point USA. They didn't invite me to their stupid event. I don't want to go. I don't want to go.
They didn't invite me to their stupid little event. Demeaning. I wasn't invited, so now I don't want to go. And it's stupid and it's little. There's nothing little about it. And I don't believe you here, Tim. I think you're at least fucking lying about that. I could be wrong. But as he's accusing everybody else of lying, and people are accusing him of lying, I'm in text message threads with other independent journalists actively wondering and saying, well, hasn't Tim faked stuff like this before? Hasn't Tim at least been accused of faking stuff like this before for ratings? Is he that big of a sociopath? These conversations are spiraling right now about Tim. I'm not going to tell you that I agree with that perspective. I don't know that I have an opinion one way or the other. I really don't. But I don't know. It just strikes me as disingenuous. I don't even want to go to their stupid little event. I don't buy it. I just don't buy it.
Turning Point into the perpetrators of the crime that was against them.
Now, that point right there, I agree with Tim completely. What are the receipts that would make you want to turn the tragedy that happened to you into your fault? That is a huge leap of faith. There's no faith that can make sense of that. You need to come with receipts. And so far, has Candace proved anything? A lot of finger pointing, a lot of accusations, but what has been proven? That's not right. Imagine grieving through the loss of your husband or the leader of your company or the one of your best friends, and now you're being accused of being the one that pulled the trigger. Like, that's fucked up. And I do agree with Tim on that point.
I don't get paid by any of these people. I'm not on good terms.
But Tim, who do you get paid by? Why is it that you have unlimited resources? Why? Well, it's because you work 15 hours a day. Yeah. The work ethic of Tim Pool is widely documented. But where does all the funding come from? You know, and that is sort of the question for a lot of people in alternative media. Where does the funding actually come from? So just to randomly throw, I don't get paid by any of these people. Well, you do get paid. And you have been paid throughout your career by a lot of corporations, a lot of people, a lot of donors, a lot of people trying to get sway. And that's the name of the game.
She has turned Turning Point into the perpetrators of the crime that was against them. I don't get paid by any of these people. I'm not on good terms necessarily with
I don't know if you don't get paid by any of those people. There might be some of the same funders of that organization that are the same funders of your organization.
By any of these people, I'm not on good terms.
If he's saying any of these people, meaning Turning Point USA members, okay, maybe, but aren't there stories about the funders of TPUSA that got upset that he wasn't going to this, that, and the other? He was changing his opinion on this, that, and the other. Do any of those same people fund you, Tim Pool, and your operations? Have they in the past? Are you now or have you ever been a member of the Communist Party? Are you now or have you ever taken money from some of the same people who gave money to Turning Point USA? 100% yes, you have. Either through Rumble Rants and Super Chats. By the way, we have Rumble Rants and Super Chats. Oh, there's a Rumble Rant here. Wait, it's a Super Chat. Kenneth off the top rope throws $10 into the tip jar. Thank you, Kenneth. I appreciate you so much. He says, let's just pretend that's 100, okay? Get a load of that, see? Let's pretend it's 100. I don't know why he's Groucho Marx now. But thank you, Kenneth. I appreciate you so much. That is fantastic. If Nimbus can say me how. Hey, can you say me how? Can you talk? Can you talk for Kenneth? He's just nuzzling. He's being too sweet. You were so vocal a minute ago, though. Hi. Do the nose kiss. Marion says, yes. When I hear Nimbus, I look around to see if it's one of my cats. You were so loud. Everybody heard you. It's a good thing you're handsome. And he's purring. He's a sweet guy. Whoa, the language dude. Yeah, I know. He's pulling a rant out of the Engelman textbook, isn't he? Oh, the one word. You hate that one word so much. Oh, yeah. I mean, look, I guess we need to check in on the lady who was fired from Cinnabon. There are more allegations that she has been getting harassed by these groups for a while, and there's other videos showing it. That they're giving her grief for wearing makeup and not covering her face like a ghost. And she finally had enough, and she used a mean word in response to being harassed. So yeah, Tim Pool is using the C word in response to Candace blaming the victims without proof, which is effed up. I do agree. Checking in on the Cinnabon lady who was fired for using a word, not that word, the C word and the N word. You know, those are... And the R word, as Tim Waltz says. She has so far raised $144,888 to rebuild her life now that her job's been taken from her. She's been doxxed and targeted by that community. But I think there's more video in our X feed I do want to get to about that story, but that is the quick update there, in case you were curious. Back to Tim Pool.
Necessarily with Turning Point USA. They didn't invite me to their stupid event. I don't want to go. I don't want to go.
Oh, I thought he said little. Did he just say stupid event? I thought he said stupid little. My bad.
I'm not on good terms necessarily with Turning Point USA. They didn't invite me to their stupid event. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. They invited me back after I started criticizing Candace. I'm not going to your event.
Then they invited him back, and now I don't want to go. I'm going to take my ball and go home. No, he's got a personal beef with them.
I'm over all of this shit. The last thing that I need to deal with is a bunch of cowards in conservative media refusing to stand up to her. Megyn Kelly, come on. I appreciate the kind words, but come on. Such fucking pathetic bullshit. You know, and I get people saying, Tim, you know, thank you so much for talking about it. I don't care. I'm not doing a favor for anybody. I'm not doing this to benefit anybody. Nobody's paying me. There's no fucking right.
What do you mean nobody's paying you? You are being paid a shit ton. You have 2 big-ass billboards outside of my, on the freeway that I have to drive past. 2 big fucking billboards. Somebody is paying you, Tim. Wow. Nice jump, Nimbus. Were you unaware that that was not stationary? You're not aware that that spins? Okay. Good jump. Whew, his medication helps him. That's $100 a month. So thank you for the super chats. A lot of it goes to Nimbus, for real. I don't know what he keeps saying. Nobody's paying me. Like you're being paid more than almost everybody in alternative media, Tim. People are paying you. Stop saying people aren't paying me. He might mean specific people here, but
So much you're talking about. I don't care. I'm not doing a favor for anybody. I'm not doing this to benefit anybody. Nobody's paying me. There's no fucking Russia. There's no fucking Israel. There's just me sticking my neck out and then risking dying for what? A bunch of cowards that don't want to stand up to protect themselves? People like fucking Candace Owens?
I couldn't believe that she put you in the thumbnail
What a fucking cunt.
of her piece today.
I'm done.
The idea that she'd
I'm
imply
fucking
that you had some benefit or that you benefit somehow. Like
she benefited. I think she's a Fed, and I think she killed Charlie. No one benefited more than her.
Wow.
Yeah, that she'd
I'm fucking
imply
done.
that you had some benefit or that you benefit somehow. Like
She benefited. I think she's a Fed, and I think she killed Charlie. No one benefited more than her.
Off the top ropes with that one.
Benefit or that you benefit somehow. Like
She benefited. I think she's a Fed, and I think she killed Charlie. No one benefited more than her.
I mean, I don't know if nobody benefited more than her, but she has benefited. She has a top-rated podcast now because of these accusations. All right, let's move over to Doge Designer sharing this. Elon says, true, in response. Doge Designer. Here's this conversation with President Trump about Europe on Politico.
I think they're weak, but I also think that they want to be so politically correct. I think they don't know what to do. Europe doesn't know what to do. They don't know what to do on trade either. I mean, I look at a lot of the trade, situation that's going on over there. It's a little bit dangerous, but Europe, they want to be politically correct, and it makes them weak. That's what makes them weak.
It sounds like you want to see some pretty massive changes.
Well, I think they should get the people out that came into the country illegally.
I want to ask about NATO.
If you take a look at Sweden, so Sweden was known as the safest country in Europe, one of the safest countries in the world. Now it's known as a very unsafe, pretty unsafe country. It's not even believable. It's a whole different country. Sweden. I think they're weak.
Dasha Burns is the lady. They're weak. They should get all the people that came into the country illegally out. Sweden was the safest country in Europe, one of the safest in the world. Now it's very unsafe. Yeah, restore your country. Whistleblowers now confirm Ilhan Omar's campaign funneled a massive amount of money where? Nancy Mace shared this and said no one is above the law. Here's Harris Faulkner on Fox.
Tracking the web of fraud to other Minnesota Democrats, such as Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. Many of the suspects linked to the scheme live in her district, including a restaurant owner who hosted events for her. He has since been convicted of stealing $12 million in COVID funds.
We need some arrests already. She knew, she benefited, she covered for the people doing it. This isn't community outreach, it's corruption on steroids. That's very well said, says a man of memes. Ricky Doggin. Double trouble. Fox News. Minnesota taxpayers will now finance a pricey state-level cleanup effort after a years-long $250 million welfare fraud scheme, effectively paying twice for the failure. We did it, Joe. We did it. We did it, Joe. Look at the corruption. We did it. We did it, Joe. We did it. Look at the corruption everywhere. We're conquering America. We're the useful idiots, and they'll eliminate us as soon as they gain all their control. I don't know if it's going to be the Muslims or the progressives or the Stalinist, Marxist, or communists, but they're going to eliminate us as soon as they give control like they do in every country everywhere. But for now, we did it, Joe. We did it, Joe. We ruined America, Joe. Blah. 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 I'm going to have a hairball thinking about Kamala and what the Democrats did to ruin this country. Human Perspective says, here's former CDC Director Rochelle Walensky. Former CDC Director Rochelle Walensky. Whoop. Why didn't that play?
For pregnant people who are at higher risk of...
Excuse me. Pregnant people? Pregnant women. Never take someone seriously if they use the phrase pregnant people. Pregnant women. Only women get pregnant.
For pregnant people who are at higher risk of severe illness from COVID-19, we are strengthening our guidance and recommending that all pregnant people or people thinking about becoming pregnant get vaccinated. We now have new data that reaffirm the safety of our vaccines for people who are pregnant, including those early in pregnancy and around the time of conception. These data build on previous evidence from 3 safety monitoring systems that did not find any safety concerns for pregnant people who were vaccinated
pregnant women
late in pregnancy or for their babies. Now, these new data found no increase in the risk for miscarriage among people who received an mRNA COVID-19 vaccine before 20 weeks of pregnancy. For pregnant.
Yeah, where's the misinformation tab on that one? Adam Carolla says now she has a job at Harvard where she can lie without harming the general public. Nigel Farage, MP, here talking about what's happening in Warwickshire. England has fallen. When will you remove the invading horde that are butchering your people?
And I'm sorry, but if you as a country allow young men who come from countries in which women...
Let me change the screen dynamic. That just shifted in real time. The Times wrote there are cultural... let me set this up the right way. I got to back out of this full screen. Sorry. A 15-year-old girl was AR'd by 2 Afghan asylum-seeking illegal alien invaders in Warwickshire. The lawyer blamed the attack on cultural differences. So in the culture of Afghanistan, you get to abuse a woman without her consent? Sounds like you shouldn't allow anybody from that culture into your country ever. If the alternative is 15-year-olds being abused. The lawyer said his client was not used to a society where women are free. They just are women at leisure in their backward, demonic shithole of a country. Then, is that what this lawyer is claiming? That these 2 people who invaded a sovereign nation come from a backward shithole country with backward shithole ideals where they get to abuse women without repercussion? You don't think that 15-year-old has a father, a brother, a grandfather, a neighbor that wouldn't break your neck to save her from your abuse? Almost makes it feel like cultures are not equivalent. Not all cultures are the same. The lawyer's arguing, my clients are monsters. You can't blame the good person here because I come from Monsterville and I'm a monster. Reminds me a little bit of Unfrozen Caveman Lawyer, Phil Hartman. No, I don't know about your fancy legal language. I'm just an unfrozen caveman lawyer. But what I do know is that my client did not do what he's been accused of. Now, look, I know there have been evidence presented, DNA. I can't wrap my feeble little unfrozen caveman brain, my tiny pea brain, around deoxyribonucleic acid. What the hell is it? Deoxyribonucleic acid. Look, I can't even recite it with my tiny caveman brain. But what I do know is my client's not guilty. Yes, you have these fancy things here in this courtroom, whatever that is. That's a lineup where you put a difference of people up there and you get a witness that points out my client. I specifically, now look, I'm just an unfrozen caveman lawyer. You couldn't possibly expect me to understand the concept of a lineup. In fact, is that what you call it, a lineup? Right. But what I do know is you should vote to acquit my client. This lawyer's like, no, look, my 2 little monsters that I represent, they come from Monsterville, and, they can't wrap their head around the brains that they don't just get to R a 15-year-old when they see him and they feel like it, take, it's mine, mine. Because they have no impulse control. They're just unfrozen cavemen in your modern world of flashing lights. You see, they come from Dustin Rockville. It's Monsterville, and they're monsters raised by monsters in a monster culture. They take. It's not their fault. They took the virginity of this 15-year-old beautiful soul. They're just monsters. What a fucking shitty excuse. That's the context here of this. This is why you don't let unvetted people with different cultural values. See, in our culture, grapes, minus the G, are totally fine. Good. Then stay in Grapeville with your own grapers. Stay the fuck away from civilized society. You unfrozen cavemen lawyers. Anyway, that's the context of what Nigel Farage is talking about here.
And I'm sorry.
By the way, Nigel, never say you're sorry. I know it's a turn of phrase, but retire it. Never apologize.
And I'm sorry. But if you as a country allow young men who come from countries in which women aren't even classed as second-class citizens, and you put them up in 4-star hotels, allow them to work illegally, their attitude towards women is completely different to ours. So the social effects of this are appalling as well. And I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. Your view toward women is correct. Theirs make them monsters. Remove every monster immediately and string up the ones. There needs to be a death penalty. Question of the day, do you agree or disagree? There needs to be a death penalty for grapes. Agree or disagree? Cut the crap already. You violate a kid, you violate a girl. You drag them off into the bushes, throw them into a car, abuse them. Yeah, agree or disagree? It's time to institute global capital punishment for abusing women like that. Agree or disagree? All right. So here, three different posts here. Majestic Glow says it's always about Tim. Every year, Tim Pool claims someone is shooting in his place. He is the Jussie Smollett of the Republican Party. Candace Owens says the shooting that Tim Pool survived in December 2022 was committed by his brother, by the way. His brother was the one who fired the weapon on his property. He cannot deny this fact, she says. Wake underneath here, let me share this, says you're being deliberately deceptive and disgusting. Tim Pool literally explained on his show last night that his brother fired shots at two people who were actively trying to break into his property. Yet you're twisting it to claim his brother was firing at the house, as if his own brother is some deranged psycho who randomly decided to shoot up Tim's home. Do you ever stop lying? We are not focused. MAGA is not focused. The anti-democrat movement is not focused. The pie chart is being splintered into different little 12%, 5%, 3%, 1%, 2%, 6%. Little tiny wedges of the pie. You need to unite against the deep state and finish them like it's a video game in Mortal Kombat. Finish them. Now, I mean that in the sense of finishing them politically, peacefully. Don't you go pulling an Aaron Rupar. Don't you Rupar that clip and make it seem like I'm calling for mortal punishment against them. If found guilty of treason, I absolutely am. Which I think there's plenty of evidence to suggest that. If anybody would ever push that forward, I think the treason speaks for itself. But no, to finish them, to finish their political careers peacefully. Instead, the movement is splintered with all this interpersonal bullshit. Alex Jones used to be at the center of a lot of this. Candace and Tim Pool are at the center of this. Just fucking focus on the bad guys. Some of this just, you got to shake it up and let it sort its way out. I get it. You're trying to understand what happened with the alleged shooting at Tim Pool. Trying to understand what happened with Charlie Kirk. Trying to understand with what do we even know about the Butler, Pennsylvania situation? What do we know about the voter fraud allegations? What do we know about the voting systems? What do we know about software and machines? What do we know about illegal aliens getting driver's license, and then you're not allowed to check for voter identification to prove that you're even eligible to get a ballot, to cast a ballot? That's if you're showing up in person, let alone all the ones that magically appear from some database filled in somewhere, somehow, delivered somewhere, somehow, sometime, that end up counting in the final tallies for an election. Fucking focus. All of you. We are burning daylight. Burning daylight. Tim Poole says, the vile witch, Candace Owens, is now claiming my own brother tried to shoot me. This is an absolute lie. Candace is as vile as they come. She's a effing demon. So,
some issues.
Do with that what you will. Speaking of evil demons, let's check in with Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, perhaps the most unqualified person to ever sit on the Supreme Court. ? Agree or disagree with that one? Type in the comments. Kira says, I have an honest question. I really don't know the answer. Can you impeach a sitting Supreme Court justice for being ignorant or intellectually impaired? Yes or no? So this is where justices are hearing the case on executive authority amid Trump's firing of the FTC commissioner. The debate here is, do the people we elect get to do the job, or does a permanent deep state of unelected, pre-selected, bribed and blackmailed and controlled bureaucrats get to run the country regardless of what we, the people, vote for? That's an open and shut case. Obviously, it's the representatives of we, the people, who cast the vote. Those are the ones that get to decide what happens in our government, not a deep state of unelected bureaucrats. Oh, wait. Ketanji Brown Jackson disagrees. Because she's a lunatic, because she's a nincompoop, or because she's a traitor? You tell.
Some issues, some matters, some areas should be handled in this way by nonpartisan experts.
Because the experts surely are never partisan. Horseshit. Excuse me.
That Congress is saying that expertise matters.
Expertise matters. Not the expertise of the person that you put into office to enact your policy positions for you. No, the expertise of unelected bureaucrats that you can't get rid of. You see, that's how the deep state wins. They just put their tentacles everywhere and they just continue on with or without you. What's that quote? Give me a... Was it media or currency? Give me control of a nation's currency and it matters not who they elect. I'll run the country.
Respect to aspects of the economy and transportation and the various independent agencies that we have. So having a president come in and fire all the scientists and the doctors and the economists and the PhDs and replacing them with loyalists and people who don't know anything is actually not in the best interest of the citizens of the United States. These issues should not be in presidential control.
It's so interesting. If this were an Obama issue, do you think she'd be making this point? Oh, I strongly doubt it.
So can you speak to me about the danger of allowing, in these various areas, the president to actually control the Transportation Board and potentially the Federal Reserve and all these other independent agencies? In these particular areas, we would like to have independence. We don't want the president controlling. I guess what I don't understand from your overarching argument is why that determination of Congress, which makes perfect sense given its duty to protect the people of the United States, why that is subjugated to a concern about the president not being able to control everything. I mean, I appreciate there's a conflict between the two, but one would think under our constitutional design, given the history of the monarchy and the concerns that the framers had about a president controlling everything, that in the clash between those two, Congress's view that we should be able to have independence with respect to certain issues should take precedence.
So she wants to strip the president of his power and make sure unelected deep state plants get to run the country. I'm not buying it. No, thank you. Rand Paul here says we found enough evidence to recommend that the DOJ investigate Anthony Fauci. Rand Paul says, well, I'm not a prosecutor. I can't investigate and refer Fauci for prosecution. The DOJ must be the one to act and prosecute. Him talking with Benny Johnson.
Please, an update on Dr. Fauci. We saw him at Dick Cheney's funeral, which I'm sure was a shocker to you, Senator.
Yeah, he and Rachel Maddow at the Dick Cheney funeral. Who would have ever guessed, you know? No, we have sent requests for the last 6 months to him to get information. He is cooperating. We are looking at phone records and emails. We haven't gotten everything we want, but he's still cooperating. As long as he's cooperating, we're trying to negotiate a time for him to come in for testimony. He hasn't agreed to that. And we're going to see in the next couple of weeks whether he agrees to testify or whether he has to be subpoenaed. Now, people say, why don't you just subpoena him? Because what happens if you subpoena people and they resist, you then go to court and you don't always win, or it's a long, drawn out, years-long battle to try to get people to come in. So if we can get him to come in voluntarily, that's what we're hoping for. We do know from our research of what we have done that he has email exchanges between him and Francis Collins where they talk about deleting these messages. Read this message and delete it. That's illegal. That's against the law. If you work in the executive branch, you cannot delete any email concerning government business. So we have that, and that I think is enough to be of concern and enough for the authorities to look into. We have recommended to the Department of Justice they do something about it. Now, online, you'll see all these, idiot paid influencers who are attacking me saying, oh, yeah, you said you'd get Fauci. How come you're not doing anything about Fauci? Well, it's because I'm not a prosecutor and I have no power to indict him. I have the power to investigate, and we have been. We've found evidence. We also think he lied over the idea of funding gain-of-function research in China. That's also a crime to lie to Congress. And for these lies, for these crimes, he has been referred to the group that has the power. We did 2 referral letters under Biden to the Department of Justice, and we received no action. And we've done 1 under the Trump Department of Justice, and we haven't seen any action. That doesn't mean they're not trying. All I can say is I don't have the power, and people have to understand I'm doing the best I can. The investigation continues, but I don't have the power to actually indict anyone because I'm not a prosecutor.
Please. Let's go get Fauci. Please, let's go get Fauci. Please, let's go get Fauci. I hold him directly responsible for the medical malpractice that took my brother's life away. My name is Inigo Montoya, and you deserve justice. You deserve facing the justice system. My family deserves justice, Anthony Fauci. Your role in blocking hydroxychloroquine, blocking ivermectin, forcing remdesivir, forcing ventilation tubes, forcing a one-size-fits-all approach when that's get out of here with that. You had no right to do what you did, to block monoclonal antibodies. You had no right. And the stuff that you did had real ramifications. What was that monster that was unleashed in China? Go get him, Rand. Man, oh man, do you have my unwavering support. We said here, dear God, it's time to hold Fauci accountable for everything he's done to hurt humanity. I posted this, but it was connected to another story, but now it's not showing the other story. We said legacy media, deep state Democrat hacks attempting to blame the firefighter for the smoke is crazy work. Obama, Biden, Democrats wrecked everything they touched for most of 20 years. It takes a minute to dig out all the roots from this poison ivy branch so it doesn't come back. That was in reaction to complaining about pricing and affordability. It's a shame that wasn't connected, just floating as a comment. That doesn't make as much sense. What is this? Patriot Warrior shared a link. Want me to tell you what's going on in Texas? The Texas scorecard. Here's a report. China is taking a new approach to influence K-12 education. A China-tied spring education group owns 13 schools in Texas. Oh, hell no. Oh, no. They're buying up schools? In what universe can a foreign nation buy up a school? That makes no sense. That doesn't make any sense. Spring Education Group, network of private schools with 28 brands spanning 16 states, has ties with Communist China. Office of DNI identified China as a national security threat during the annual threat assessment. Richmond, well, I didn't introduce Richmond. Richmond is Jennifer Richmond, Deputy Director of Education, National Security at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, wrote. Hong Kong-based Primavera Holdings owns Spring, and founder Fred Hu served as an economic advisor to the Chinese government. New York Post reported Hu was previously named as a one-time senior member of the Chinese Communist Party. Both the Primavera and Spring Education Group denied allegations that Hu is a party member. Florida suspended 4 SEG-owned schools from receiving school choice funds in 23. Department of Investigation found direct ties between SEG and the Chinese Communist Party through Primavera. We will not put up with any attempt to influence our students with a communist ideology or allow Floridans' tax dollars to go to schools that are connected to our foreign adversaries, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis stated. Well said. They own 13 schools, SEG does, in Texas. 9 in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, 2 in Austin, 2 in Houston. Various brand names. Spring Education Group did not return a request for comment before publication. All right, well, we shared that one out. Thank you for sharing with us. Patriot Warrior. A CNN panelist here is going to talk about the inflation in the country. You know, I feel like this is where my comment was supposed to be connected to. Legacy media, deep state Democrat hacks attempting to blame the firefighter for the smoke is crazy work. Obama, Biden, Democrats wrecked everything they touched for most of 20 years. It takes a minute to dig out all the roots from this poison ivy branch so it doesn't come back. That was in reaction to this one. CNN panelist says the inflation that was naturally occurring. This is wild.
Inflation that occurred under Biden was in part naturally occurring due to supply chain bottlenecks and because the COVID once-in-a-lifetime pandemic occurred. And yes, it occurred.
Like we're on trees? Or?
Yeah, okay, so because of supply chain bottlenecks, that's what I'm talking about. There was
of the president's tariffs policy.
I know all of human history started in January of this year, but I could take you back 4 years when input prices for agriculture, from fuel to materials to you name it, went through the roof. I know you know a little something about it because you worked under Joe Biden when it all happened. So these farmers, they're in a 10-month period here with Trump, but they just came out of a 4-month period where they were dying under the inflationary and affordability crisis caused by Democrats. They support this president. They like what he did today, and they're going to give him a little latitude to get out of it.
I don't think that's accurate when you hear from farm bureaus.
You don't think it's accurate that inflation happened under Biden?
I'm sorry, Donald Trump talked about.
Overall, if you look at the Fed survey, people are happy and excited about the job market and the labor market in the United States. That's a good thing. And if you talk to Scott Bessent, he'll tell you that they think in 2026 we're going to see a boom in jobs and growth in this country thanks to some of the structural changes they made this year. So they're expressing optimism and exuding optimism, and that's what they got to do going into an election.
Inflation.
All right, then. Check this one out. Matt Van Swole reports Oscar Solarzano, I think he was an illegal alien, face tattoos, real piece of work here, who stabbed a man on the Charlotte, North Carolina light rail on Friday, was just denied bail due to IRENA's law. Elon says thanks to the change in the law, he can't hurt more innocent people. Good. We ask, why did Democrats ever change laws to let demons roam? Why would anyone vote Democrat anywhere? It's demonic deep state Democrat party at this point. Zero common sense. Tons of shady, evil track records to prove incompetence or malevolence. Hashtag red wave. Check out our episode of Strictly Football. We did that yesterday. Our next episode will be tomorrow. I'm trying to remember, what did we say? 3 o'clock, 3:30? Doggone it, I forget. I got to double check with the guys. Episode 18 of season 2, or 19 of season 2 will be tomorrow at whatever time that is. 3 o'clock, 3:30, 4 o'clock. I don't know. Stay tuned at 3 o'clock, something like that. From the Gateway Pundit, Tom Homan is looking at Ilhan Omar's immigration files over alleged fraudulent marriage to her brother. Thank God. Please tell me we can remove this person from office and throw her in jail. Not for political payback, not for retribution, not for petty politics, but for justice regarding criminal acts they committed to seize power and control. Still waiting on the arrests for the grand conspiracy, by the way. Obama, Biden, Clinton. Oh, yeah. One of these days, maybe we'll get some justice, huh? Zero Hour says they harassed her for days. Somalis aren't so innocent. They kept coming back for the reaction they wanted. Well, here's a clip from TMZ. I'm not sure the context here, but TMZ is putting this out. This is allegedly the Cinnabon worker getting harassed by Somalis. Ex-Cinnabon worker to a black woman. Wait, I thought they're saying this was this black woman to the ex-Cinnabon worker saying, paint your face elsewhere, you fat effing bug-eyed bee. But they're saying it's a Cinnabon worker says this to the woman? I don't know.
What's recording doing for you?
Just show me who you are for what.
Get the f out of here. You painted your face. I remember you. I remember you without your face. You can go and pretend to be 5 different people. I still know who the f you are.
She's saying, you keep coming back here pretending to be different people, and I still know who you are.
Just because you put a bandana on your fucking head, does not mean you can come back and harass me.
Just because you put a bandana on your head doesn't mean you get to come back and harass me.
Oh, how are you? She came with a white bitch. She came back as a black bitch. Well, paint your face somewhere else, you fat, fucking ugly, bug-eyed bitch.
Psycho.
Damn right I am.
Yeah, you get to go out.
Psycho is? Psycho is, pertaining to the fucking mind.
No, you need to go to the hospital. You need to get some help.
You can't. I can't. You're right, but I would. But I would.
Do it.
Do it. Come on and take that.
Shut the f up.
So who's harassing who? I still don't know. I know her Give, Send, Go has raised $144,948 because some people out there are thinking that she was definitely harassed by those people. They're filming from the beginning. Why are they filming? That guy says, you think it's okay that you're better than us because you sexualize yourself? Something like that. I forget the exact phrase. Completely inappropriate from a customer to talk about an employee sexualizing herself. Sir, this is a Wendy's. Get the fuck out of here. I don't know. I don't have the full context, but now we got more. We have more context. I'm calling on Cinnabon. Release the video. Show us. Of course your register's on camera. Of course it is. We know that. You're a mega chain. Of course it's recorded. Release the video. Actually, let me share it again. At Cinnabon, we once again call on you to release the full series of videos to either prove or disprove your workers' allegations of harassment by this couple who is filming her on this video. What happened? Share the footage. We know you have it. Here's Joy Reid reacting to the J6 pipe bombing arrest. Oh, Joy Reid, one of the biggest purveyors of fake news, the media puppets, deep state hack.
Garland escapes the smoke.
How does Merrick Garland escape the smoke, says Charlemagne.
I don't know why Merrick Garland escapes the smoke.
I don't understand why he escapes the smoke. Even the Epstein files thing, I'm like, wait a minute. You tell me 9 months into this administration, the podcast guys are claiming they caught the bomb. Now, I don't know if this young man is the person that put the pipe bombs in these. I don't know. But I know they said we solved the case in 9 months. Merrick Garland was there for 4 years. What were you doing? The Epstein files. Merrick, what were you doing?
You're working for the traders.
For 4 years, you had the same evidence, the same files. Why did you release them?
I don't know.
I could be careful asking that question. But that is true. All right, Steven Crowder tells us about what's going on with Netflix. It's maybe not good. Netflix announces an acquisition of Warner Brothers. Oh. Together we'll define the next century of storytelling, creating an extraordinary entertainment offering for audiences everywhere. Oh, this is bad news. Netflix is woke and awful.
Now, you know what you won't see? You won't see 17, 18, 19-year-old teenage boys going, yeah, man, I'm going to go get laid tonight. You know why? Because that's patriarchy. That's awful. That's the sexualization of women. But it's empowering. When a 13-year-old girl talks about being railed, and they hope that your kids watch it when you're not around. Yes, you need it. Of course, you need to be a good parent. Yeah. But you can't catch everything. And it's pretty tough to fight against the world's most powerful media company, which, if this goes through, potentially ever. And it gets even worse. Here's the worst proposed film ever.
How is it possible to be worse than what we just watched?
Well, this one's funnier.
That's true.
It's called Queen of Coal. Now, you would think that I'm making this up or it's satire. Here's the plot summary.
Queen of Coal. Yeah. This one is from Not the Bee. When the Babylon Bee shares a story that's so absurd, you have to specifically say, no. This is not the Bee. This is just a ridiculous, crazy thing that's actually happening. Shared from Not the Bee. Yeah, not Netflix. It's Leftflix. Doesn't roll off the tongue, Leftflix, but it gets the point across.
A trans woman dreams of working the coal mines.
What a dream.
This is Minecraft 2.
But it's October used to be a guy. but in a town steeped in superstition and patriarchy, Carlita must fight to earn her place underground.
Witchcraft.
That's such a funny thing to read.
I know.
And someone wrote that. Her place underground.
Yeah, shoot
in the low
lower.
of the low.
Yeah.
My dream is to have a job that anyone can get, nobody wants, is dangerous, and doesn't pay well.
I dream to work a dangerous job underground like a sewer rat. I guess the good news is when it collapses, she'll be that much closer to hell.
Crowder's little throwaway jokes are funny sometimes. Netflix. Yeah, not good for Warner Brothers. Crowder says Netflix buying Warner Brothers is the final boss of Hollywood consolidation. One company deciding your franchises, your narratives, and your socially acceptable viewpoints. Yeah. I think I do have an account, and I think I might need to change that. Michael O'Keefe, well, shares this little gem. Take a listen to Ireland.
So let's.
I don't know what this is, but it's an angry lady that doesn't like Ireland being Ireland.
So let's drop this whole thing about Ireland belonging to the Irish. I don't believe that's a thing. I think this is something people need to unlearn now. You know,
Ireland belonging to the Irish is not a thing.
So let's drop this whole thing about Ireland belonging to the Irish. I don't believe that's a thing. I think this is something people need to unlearn now. You know,
we need to unlearn. Yes, learning bad. Unless it's coming from you, then we must learn.
Our bloodline is Irish. Go and check your DNA history and see if that's even true before you start spitting those facts. You get what I'm saying? I hope that's not rude or anything, but you know, I'm a very blunt person when it comes to these kind of things. But the last thing I would like to say is when you look at this,
I don't know what you're saying.
History of Irish people 100 years down the line, people from all different kinds of nations, you won't even be able to trace their bloodline to it being Irish or not. All of a sudden, we're going to just be considered Irish. Because Ireland is so young, we're in this mindset that this whole brown skin or different skin being on our turf, which is a predominantly white nation, doesn't make sense. And that's fine. You know what? That's fine. But this is something that's going to have to be unlearned. You know, Project Pierce, I don't know how long that was, but Project Pierce was in a nation where it was just full of white people. But how did he know Irish people were actually, you know, present in front of him? I'm gonna stop rambling because I'm just getting a bit I'm getting riled up, but you know what I mean.
Sorry, I listened to all that. I actually don't know what you mean, except you seem bitter. Okay, Town Hall says UHH. What's this UHH? Minnesota Mayor Nadia Mohammed tells constituents, don't worry because, excuse me, what?
My St. Louis Park residents and to really anybody who lives in the Twin Cities area, as we're getting reports that ICE is coming, that they're being deployed, know this, that St. Louis Park Police Department does not enforce immigration laws. They have not. It has been a long-standing policy for us. My St. Louis Park residents and to really anybody who lives in the Twin Cities area, as we're getting reports that ICE is coming, that
yes, ICE is coming.
They're being deployed.
And being deployed. Being deployed.
Know this, that St. Louis Park Police Department does not enforce immigration laws.
St. Louis Police, what is this?
Department does not enforce. Know this, that St. Louis Park Police Department does not enforce immigration laws.
Does not enforce immigration laws? That's treason.
They have not. It has been a long-standing policy for us. My St. Louis.
Wow. So it's a long-standing treasonous activity. Wow. Admitting to something like that in public. That's a bold strategy. Another area overthrown by a foreign actor has been identified. Time to mobilize. Wall Street Ape shows this. Allegedly an elderly white man in America being harassed for being white. He was simply trying to get the woman to stop yelling at his wife. I don't know if this is a skit. I don't know if this is real. But here we go.
Whatever. Fucking grave if you keep it the fuck up.
That's what we do.
That's what's gonna happen. Yeah, whatever. So I need you to mind your business because nobody was talking to you, cracker.
That's my wife.
I don't give a fuck.
Care.
Nobody was talking to her either. I could look wherever the fuck I want to look. Nobody want to look at your ugly ass anyway. Let them at it. Y'all look like.
So she's gone racist, calling him a cracker right off the bat. That's a good one.
Get the fuck up.
That's what we do.
Threats of intimidation, trying to tell him what to do and what not to.
Whatever. Fucking grave if you keep it the fuck.
Oh no, that's a death threat.
Whatever. Fucking grave if you keep it the fuck up.
It looks like it's a TJ Maxx. I think she's saying I'll put you in the grave if you don't shut the F up.
Whatever. Fucking grave if you keep it the fuck up.
That's what we do.
That's what's gonna happen.
That's what we do, says the other person.
That's what we do.
That's what's gonna happen. So I need you to mind your.
So that's what's going to happen. That's what we do. We're going to put you in the ground.
Whatever. Fucking grave if you keep it the fuck up.
That's what we do.
That's what's gonna happen. So I need you to mind your business because nobody was talking to you, cracker.
That's my wife.
I don't give a fuck.
Care.
Nobody was talking to her either. I could look wherever the fuck I want to look. Nobody want to look at your ugly ass anyway. Let them at it. Y'all look like y'all sit in fucking water and vinegar all day.
Look like you sit in water and vinegar all day. Lots of racist, racial commentary.
But what you do is when you train them, fucking pal, you do the and dirty treats, and, then
and stink.
When she does that,
Smell like wet
what you
fucking
do is
dog.
You smell like wet effing dog.
Look at this dog here. Look at
You
it.
correct it.
Look.
All right. And
Look at the shoes.
right.
Come on.
So when you get done correcting,
The fucking family meeting.
what you do is whatever.
We don't have to live like this, says Wall Street Apes. I had to ask Grok, is this a skit? Looks pretty real. Why would you film yourself racially harassing a group of elderly? Oh, here's another one on why would you film yourself this. Don't you know about door ring cams? Colin Rogue reports a DoorDash driver has been accused of spraying pepper spray on an Arby's food order after dropping it off at a home in Indiana. Mark Carden says his wife started choking and gasping after she started eating the food. I noticed my wife had started eating and started choking and gasping after she had a couple bites of her food. She actually threw up, he said, according to 14 News. I had to look at the bag and seen that there was some sort of spray or something, so I pulled up my doorbell camera and seen that the lady who dropped off the food had actually tampered with it on purpose for some reason. The incident is reportedly under investigation by the sheriff's office, which could result in a charge of consumer product tampering, a level 6 felony. Messed up.
My wife had started eating and she started choking and gasping, and after she had had a couple bites of her food, she actually threw up. It's pepper spray. It's more than likely what it is, but now in this day and age, it could have been anything. Could have been rat poison, could have been fentanyl. You know, I mean, my wife could have been dead. Definitely want to see her prosecuted.
Absolutely. I wonder if this guy had like a Trump sign in his window, and she's got a mean look on her face. Obviously, she does something stupid. She's a blue-haired weirdo to begin with. She's like, ugh. Looking at the camera, she's like, ugh. I gotta serve food to these people. I don't know if she knows them personally. I don't know if her blue hair is triggered by an American flag or a MAGA bumper sticker on the car, so she sprays it with pepper spray. Sick people. Marion said, I feel dumber listening to her now. Yeah, I wish I could narrow down what you were talking about. Jen Psaki will make you dumber listening to her. Joy Reid will make you dumber listening to her. Ilhan Omar will make you dumber listening to her. Jasmine Crockett will make you dumber listening to her. Which woman are we talking about? There's so many dumb women on this show today that we've played. It doesn't really narrow it down for me. By the way, don't Aaron Rupar that, where it's just Brian going, there's so many dumb women. That's what they did to Charlie Kirk. See, he deserved it. He deserved it. See, he said something bad. He deserved it. People are gross. Stop being stupid and gross. But look at, she's got like a face of disgust. Yeah, I wonder. Let me put in the comments section. Oh, boy. Yeah, they, them. They always get the colored hair. Did this blue-haired pepper spray person get triggered by an American flag in the yard? A Trump bumper sticker or something? Does the delivery hag know the family? She walks up with a disgusted look on her face from the beginning. Elon says that democracy is being destroyed. Here's Arthur McWaters saying this one map explains most of the policy around immigration. The blue states on this map, it should be red, but the blue states on this map represent middle America, who by and large require photo ID to vote. That's all common sense, which is why the middle America vote goes to Republicans, because nobody likes the Democrats. Yellow on this map, no non-photo ID is required. That's not ID then. That doesn't count. Colorado, I don't know, Virginia, West Virginia. What are these little ones? What is that, Delaware? I don't know. But no ID required. Huh. Illinois, Minneapolis, Arizona. Or is that New Mexico? California, Oregon, Washington, New York. I think I said New York. Pennsylvania, all the fraud states. They don't require ID. Marion says that blue-haired wench's twisted demeanor, that disgusted look on her face is probably her normal face. She's got resting bleh face. Resting beach face, they say. Yeah, you might be right on that, actually. Please do me a favor. Click on our X feed and vote in this poll. Tell me once you have. Click on X, scroll down here. Do we need nationwide voter ID immediately? Agree or disagree? Please vote on this poll. Jasmine Crockett, this Mensa member, is trying to run for Senate. Think she's got a lot of great ideas? Take a listen.
I understood what was kind of pushing them there. And so I do.
Talking about criminals, what was pushing criminals into.
Pushing them there. And so I do want people to know that just because someone has committed a crime, it doesn't make them a criminal.
Could you imagine saying something this stupid in public and think that you're making a solid point?
So I do want people to know that just because someone has committed a crime, it doesn't make them a criminal.
I've maybe never heard anything this stupid.
So that just because someone has committed a crime, it doesn't make them a criminal.
Yes, it does.
Someone has committed a crime, it doesn't make them a criminal.
Yes, it does.
Just because someone has committed a crime, it doesn't make them a criminal. That just because someone has committed a crime, it doesn't make them a criminal.
Yes, it literally does. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Hey, Texas, there's no universe on Earth where you would put someone like this into office, right?
That.
What would you?
That. That is completely different. Being a criminal is more so about your mindset.
No, it's not. It's more so, literally, actually, 100% about your actions. You can have a mindset that thinks about anything you want until you do something.
Criminal. That. That is criminal. That.
Brilliant. Let me think about that. Water isn't wet. Just because water is wet doesn't make it wet water.
That is completely different. Being a criminal is more so about your mindset.
Nope, it's about actions and activity.
Committing a crime can come for a lot of different reasons.
Come on, guys. Seriously, like, what are we doing? There is no universe somebody that dumb should get anywhere near a position of power. Daily Caller reports a Grammy A Grammy-nominated Rhode Island musician was Cade while walking his dog after being hit by a car driven by a woman with 100-plus arrests. Police say Shannon Godbout veered off the road, hit multiple poles, and struck 70-year-old Roderick McLeod. "82 court warrants, 40 traffic citations. Why is she not in prison?" Oh, good Lord. You know, reasonable people have the same amount of disgust for shitty human behavior, regardless of what they look like. Just for those of you in Rio Linda, California. Reminder here that these people with 72, 45, 39, 33, and 17 arrests who emmed all of these people and set that one on fire, yeah, the judges need to be removed. They need to be charged with the criminality. "Mercy to the guilty is cruelty to the innocent," said Adam Smith. There are states granting undocumented illegal alien invaders driving privileges, and it needs to stop. I agree. All right. President Trump blasts Senate GOP and Chuck Grassley for honoring the blue slip tradition, which is letting Democrats block U.S. Attorney nominee Alina Habba and others. Result? 7 U.S. attorneys will soon be forced out because Republicans won't act? What in hell is going on?
As U.S. Attorney for the District of New Jersey after the courts disqualified her. Do you have any comment on that?
Well, she's not disqualified. You've got a blue slip thing that's horrible. It's a horrible thing. It makes it impossible to appoint a judge or a U.S. attorney, and it's a shame. And the Republicans should be ashamed of themselves that they allow this to go on, because I can't appoint a U.S. attorney that's not a Democrat, because they put a block on it. So if you appoint in Virginia or in New Jersey or in California a U.S. attorney or a judge, I mean, a judge situation is ridiculous. The only people that you can get by are Democrats, because they will put a hold on it. If I put up George Washington and Abraham Lincoln to be U.S. attorney in New Jersey or to be U.S. attorney in Virginia, we have Democrat senators, they will not approve them. And this is a gentleman's agreement that's lasted for too long, and it doesn't make it, especially in light of what's going on today. It means you can't appoint a Republican U.S. attorney, and we don't play the same game with them, but they do. And I hope that somebody speaks to Senator Grassley about doing something about the blue slip, because I'm telling you, John, I put up great people, top people, highest education, the best lawyers to be like U.S. attorney, and both senators, it only takes one. But if they're Democrat senators, they say, we're not going to approve it. I had a couple of them say, why don't you appoint Democrats? All because Senator Grassley, with his blue slip stuff, will not let anybody go by. By the way, the Democrats have violated the blue slip provision on numerous occasions, but we don't do it. And what it means is, I guess I just have to keep appointing people for 3 months and then just appoint another one. And it's a very sad situation. We're losing a lot of great people. We have about 7 U.S. attorneys who are not going to be able to keep their jobs much longer because of the blue slip. Because unless, I think I know why they did that, to protect their ass. Okay, that's why they did that. But it should be done away with. I want to be able to appoint the most highly educated, the most respected people. They can't keep their jobs because of the blue slips. Terrible.
It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. C3 says, hey, remember Chuck Grassley was offended. He got called out by President Trump about the blue slip tradition months ago. This is before Grassley and the Senate go on a 30-day vacation without doing their fucking jobs. They still haven't confirmed great picks. Trump was right again. This is pathetic. Chuck Grassley. What a fossil.
Last night, I was surprised to see President Trump on Truth Social go after me and Senate Republicans over what we call the blue slip. Now, to people in the real America, not here in this Washington, D.C. and island surrounded by reality, the people in real America don't care about what the blue slip is, but in fact, it impacts in their states the district judges who serve their communities and the U.S. attorneys who ensure the law and order is enforced. I was offended by what the president said, and I'm disappointed that it would result in personal insults. Now, we're here to do business. That's a very important part of this committee's work, to do our constitutional duties of reviewing people that require Senate confirmation. Good morning.
You didn't do it. You didn't confirm the people. I mean, end of the day, what is it that you're actually checking for? You're sort of rubber stamping the people that the president puts there. What even is this process? They don't get to do their job for a year. You just stall it and drag it out so they can't do their job. It doesn't make a lick of sense. If I didn't like the Democrats and I just wanted to play spoiler, if I just wanted to get in the middle and gum up the works, throw a metal bar inside the gears of the machine to stall it and block it and steal their power, then I would do that. That makes no sense. Why would you allow the other party to do that? Not a single confirmation for Trump's top picks, not one. Now we're right back to where Trump said we'd be. He warned them. He was right again. Honestly, it's pathetic, says voice rising. Hey, here's something. Brendan Dilly says, anyone trying to blackpill you about the midterm elections needs to be totally and completely ignored. These people are like abuse victims who keep projecting their previous experiences onto every new person they meet. We're taking our country back.
If you don't share our values, contribute to our economy, and assimilate into our society, then we don't want you in our country. We don't want you. I mean, Ilhan Omar and the people from Somalia, they hate our country. And they think we're stupid people, which actually, when they allow that to happen, they are. That's headed by Governor Walz, one of the dumber people around. No, but think of it. He's given not like peanuts, billions. These are people that don't work in their own country. Their own country's a failure. They have no money there. And yet they come into our country and steal tens of billions of dollars. How stupid are we to allow that to happen? They can't earn 10 cents in their country. They come over here and rob. Are we that easy? Are we that easy to allow a thing like that to happen? That's up to you.
Yeah. A Richardson, Texas resident here explodes on Mayor Amir Muhammad Omar. That's a mayor in Texas. After police spent an hour investigating Christians for a free speech incident, while simultaneously failing to launch an investigation into an assault on Christians with a deadly weapon by a Muslim man. In Texas.
A young Muslim man from the mosque said, let me go and run and get my gun real quick. This is on social media right now. You can see it. It's been turned in to these police officers who have done nothing. Absolutely nothing. A car pulled up with a gun pulled on these young men. Aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Guess what was investigated a week before? Free speech violations on a public sidewalk for over an hour. Guess what investigation was opened up with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon on other Christian men on the same sidewalk? Nothing! Sick! You should be ashamed of yourselves for being part of this. And I know many of you know about this in this room. This mosque has previously housed fundraising events for terrorists. The Holy Land Foundation was opened at the same exact location. Now, Mr. Mohammed Omar, sitting right here, your mayor, has attended this mosque multiple times and must be thoroughly investigated for his ties to this police corruption. Why, do you ask? Because he graduated from the Richardson Police Academy. Who would have thunk? This guy has ties to the same police trying to prevent Christians from talking to other Muslims. But people that have aggravated assault with a deadly weapon don't get investigated. I wonder why. I wonder why. I don't know what else to say other than
He sounds like when Trey Parker does his voice. They took our jabs. I wonder why.
I wonder why.
I wonder why. Derp-a-doo.
But people that have aggravated assault with a deadly weapon don't get investigated. I wonder why. I wonder why.
I wonder why.
Muslims. But people that have aggravated assault with a deadly weapon don't get investigated. I wonder why. I wonder why.
I mean, it literally sounds just like, I wonder why.
I wonder why.
It's just like Trey Parker on South Park.
Deadly weapon don't get investigated. I wonder why. I wonder why.
I wonder why.
I don't know what else to say other than Greg Abbott, Ken Paxton, and probably as high as Cash Patel needs to investigate you and you who are speaking at the same mosque this weekend who funded terrorism from the Holy Land Foundation. Shame on you. Shame on you.
Don Keith says, is Texas becoming London? Weren't we talking about Kermit? Here's a Muppet. Nick Searcy said, Hunter Eagle Man says, how in the F is this person a congressman in America? Nick Searcy says, because Democrat zombies vote.
Hello, this is Congressman Shri Thanidar. Today I introduced articles to impeach Secretary Pete Hegseth for murder and conspiracy to murder and reckless and unlawful mishandling of classified information.
Who is this guy?
Hello, this is Congressman Shri Thanidar. Today I introduced articles to impeach Secretary Pete Hegseth for murder and conspiracy to murder and reckless and unlawful mishandling of classified information. Since day one, Secretary Hegseth has disgraced that once proud office that he holds.
What is this? This is terrible, like public broadcast. Remember, like public broadcast shows? Congressman Shri Thanidar, is that MI? Is that Michigan? Naturalized U.S. citizen, born in India. Immigrated to 79, pursued PhD at Akron. Completed in 82, became a U.S. citizen in 88. Should non-native born people be allowed to serve in Congress?
From issuing orders to kill everybody on board a small boat with no evidence of any wrongdoing, to launching a follow-up strike to finish off survivors who barely clinging onto their life. His actions are not just reprehensible, but illegal as well. Former military attorneys have come out and asserted that his actions have risen to the level of war crimes. He also put the lives of our own troops in danger by leaking classified war plans in an unauthorized Signal group chat, which included a random journalist with no role anywhere in the administration.
Yeah, this is like a Muppet show. I believe all of that is clearly debunked, right? That's all debunked, and he's rehashing the Signal chat thing, Signalgate. Right? It's all debunked stuff this person's spewing.
Pete Hegseth was already the most unqualified Secretary of Defense in American history. But through his abysmal conduct, he has failed to even meet the already pitiful expectations that we had of him. We must impeach and remove Pete Hegseth as soon as possible. Thank you.
No, thank you, Sri Thanadar, representing our American ideals and values here in America. Thank you. 2 New Jersey leftists just arrested for threatening to do what? To who? This is not a whataboutism. We're not getting the same amount of violence on both sides. It is coming, by and large, completely from the left. The Democrats have become a domestic terrorist organization.
2 New Jersey brothers under arrest and charged with threatening to hang DHS Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin. Ricardo Antonio and Emiliano Roman Flores allegedly posted on...
Are these Americans?
Antonio and Emiliano, Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin, Ricardo Antonio and Emiliano Roman Flores allegedly posted on X that they wanted to torture and kill her. Other social media posts alleged from the brothers' account reportedly referred to shooting ICE agents on site. John.
Well, they are behind bars, thankfully. President.
Your party of peace.
Hello.
The Tennessee Holler says Gavin Newsom tells J.D. Cocherella he's saying no to AIPAC. I don't take tobacco money, oil money, and I've never taken AIPAC money. There are certain absolutes that are the lines that have been drawn for decades for me. Luke Thompson says, I don't take oil money. Gavin Newsom exists because of the Getty oil fortune. It's a fair point. Ilya Shapiro is going to break this down. This morning's argument. Well, maybe I could just play this. Let's see the Supreme Court thing I was telling you about earlier with Ketanji Brown Jackson.
The Supreme Court heard about 2.5 hours of argument this morning in the case involving a challenge to the president's removal power over independent agencies. That is, in this case, the Federal Trade Commission. The president says, I want my people in there. I want to remove these people. After all, they're exercising executive power. They're enforcing the law. That's my job. I need to be able to control these folks. The problem is a 90-year-old precedent called Humphrey's Executor, which said because these agencies often exercise quasi-legislative or quasi-judicial powers, they can't be fully subject to presidential authority. Well, after these 2.5 hours, I think the Supreme Court ended up where we all thought it was beforehand. That is, there is clearly a majority to either overturn Humphrey's Executor or just to recognize that modern independent agencies, all of those alphabet agencies in Washington, are different than whatever was going on in 1935. Extreme skepticism of the challenger's position. President Trump, all presidents are going to win 6-3. Supreme Court heard.
Court likely votes 6-3 to allow the president to remove the heads of so-called independent agencies while not touching the Federal Reserve, because that's the subject of a case to be argued next month in Article 1 courts. That's a good thing because it realigns governmental structure with constitutional demands, and it heralds a victory for democratic accountability. So that'll probably be a good thing. Yep. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson unleashed a full-throttle defense of unelected bureaucrats during oral arguments, Trump v. Slaughter, openly arguing presidents should not be allowed to fire the PhDs, doctors, and so-called experts who run America's independent commissions scam. Yep. Mario Nawfal says $21 billion in Obamacare subsidies can't be traced to actual people. Government Accountability Office. There you go. Decided to see if anyone's actually watching the store. So they made 20 completely fictitious applicants. No real people, no documentation. just testing if the system would notice. 18 of them are still actively covered. September 2025. Monthly payout over $10,000. GAOs just monitoring them because apparently nobody at HHS has. No social security number? Fine. No proof of citizenship? Whatever. No income documentation? Come on in. GAO literally wrote in their report, we did not provide documentation yet received coverage. They're not even hiding it. They got benefits with nothing. The system just said yes. Good God. Now check the real world damage. In 2023, 29,000 Social Security numbers somehow got used for multiple full year coverage plans. I mean, that could be someone that exists on one state's system and then they move to another state. I mean, that should be something where if you move somewhere new, that would trump the old one. Doesn't necessarily indicate fraud. By 2024, that jumped to 68,000. Someone's running the same number through the machine twice, 3 times, however many times it takes, and the alarms aren't going off, is the claim. And so I'm a little dubious of the claim because some of it is just, there should be something where if you move from California, for example, to wherever I moved to, the old account should connect to the other one and disable the previous state. That should be an automatic. That might just be a sloppy bookkeeping thing. I don't know. Then there's the $94 million that went to dead people in 2023, says Mario Knopfel. Not accounts tied to people who died recently and the paperwork hasn't caught up. Straight up deceased recipients. Death certificates filed, funerals held, checks still clearing. But here's the really wild part. GAO tried to track $21 billion in subsidies from 2023 back to actual Social Security numbers. Couldn't do it. $21 billion in subsidies from 2023. Not linked to Social Security numbers. Unreal. $21 billion just floating out there with no clear connection to who's supposed to be getting it. The system allows multiple enrollments per Social Security number to help ensure actual Social Security number holders can enroll in cases of identity theft or data entry errors. But there should be a supremacy clause. You open up a new account under the previous one, it should disable the previous one. That should be, those need to be connected. It's not rocket science. Just build the algorithm, build the program to connect to the other one and disable it. Just do it. I don't know. I don't care how you do it. Just do it. Require it. Even if that's that you get a bat phone number to the Secretary of State or whichever department's going to handle the records, you can't complete the task of adding a new person until you close the previous account. Just do it. In other words, we built in workarounds so generous that fraud looks identical to legitimate use. Now, Congress is fighting over whether to extend these enhanced COVID subsidies past December 31st. Cost to keep them? $30 billion annually. 24 million people enrolled, over 90% getting subsidies. Without extension, premiums spike overnight and 22 million people might lose coverage. Republicans looking at GAO's findings saying this is exactly why we shouldn't pour another $30 billion into a system that can't tell fake accounts from real ones. Democrats saying you're going to kick 22 million people off insurance because less than 1% is fraud? Both sides kind of have a point. Yeah, the fraud's under 1% of total enrollees. But when you're burning $30 billion yearly and literally cannot verify where $21 billion went, less than 1% stops sounding so minor. Senate vote coming this week. Expected to fail, which means scramble for short-term extension, fight continues into 2026 budget battles, and absolutely nothing changes about fraud controls. Because here's what nobody wants to say out loud. The system isn't designed to catch fraud. It's designed to maximize enrollment. When your mandate is get people covered, asking too many questions becomes the enemy. Verification slows things down. Documentation creates barriers. Better to let a few fake accounts slip through than risk denying real people who need real coverage. So GAO's 18 fictional enrollees will keep collecting their $10,000 monthly until someone at HAS manually shuts them down, which requires someone at HAS to actually read GAO reports, which requires someone at HHS to care more about fraud than enrollment numbers. Don't hold your breath. By next year, GAO will run the same test, find the same results, write the exact same warnings. And Congress will have the same fight about whether feeding money into a system that can't track where it goes is compassionate policy or expensive theater. Meanwhile, somewhere in America, a completely imaginary person just got their subsidized premium renewed for 2026. That's Obama. That's what Obama did. Obama did that. This is an accusation of Los Angeles City Council being exposed for spending $450 million to house only 1,444 people. 1,144 people. $450 million. They have thoughts on where this money's going.
Good morning. Which item would you like to speak to?
Yeah, I'd like to speak on 31, 35 in public comment.
Okay, so you'll have 2 minutes for the item and 1 minute for general public comment. Please begin with the item.
Yeah, so 31, talking about more homelessness spending in City 13. I know that district well. Hugo does too. He doesn't do a very good job there. Now, we look at the spending that we're actually doing, it's mostly inside safe spending, right? And so far, we have spent $450 million to permanently house 1,144 people. $450 million to permanently house 1,100 people. That's an absolute failure. But that money is going somewhere. It's not like that money is just falling into the abyss. That money ends up being somebody's profit. The nonprofit industrial complex who's making a ton of money off of it. And most of those people are politically connected to Hugo and Nithya and Karen Bass, of course, and actually all of you people. Moving on to 35, talking about street lighting. I don't know about you guys, but Hugo should know this. In my neighborhood, there's not a single street light that works in the 6-block area. You can come, I live on Citrus Avenue between Fountain and DeLongpre. You go down that street, there's not a light that works. On Hickman, there's not a light that works. There's not a light that works on DeLongpre from Highland down to Orange. There's not a light that works on Sycamore. There's not a light that works on Orange. There's not a light that works on Leland Way. You guys are spending so much money on policing. You want to reduce crime? How about put some fucking lights on in the city? It's bad in my neighborhood in Hollywood. It's worse in South Central. Moving on to public comment, talking about Errol Southers. You know, I've spoken a couple of times at USC, and I've become pretty close with faculty there. And they have told me multiple that Errol Southers gloats about beating up people when he was a young cop. Gloats about beating people. Who does that? Who does that? And that's the guy who we are going to put back on the police commission. The guy who, when we had that lawsuit with Carranza where it cost us close to $8 million in total, Chief Moore says he covered up that sexual harassment case because he didn't want it going viral. He didn't want to hurt the LAPD brand. Are you fucking kidding me? And Errol Southers, when I filed a complaint on Moore for that, said he did nothing wrong. What message are you guys sending if you're going to put this guy back on the police commission? He has no business being there, let alone to 2030. You've got to be fucking kidding me. Make sure you vote him down. Hugo, you better make sure.
LA is so mismanaged. It's pathetic. $450 million to house 1,100 people. Where does your money actually go? Right down the drain. It's going somewhere. Someone's making a profit. Laundered to NGOs politically connected to Karen Bass and city council members. Entire areas, not a single streetlight works. That's insane. We showed you a clip of Rochelle Walensky earlier. Here's an even creepier one. Shadow of Ezra says, Former CDC Director Rochelle Walensky describes the moment the first limited supplies of remdesivir arrived during the pandemic, smiling as she recalls how officials decided who would be allowed to receive it. She goes on to describe patients who were completely alone, unconscious, and on ventilators, unable to give any form of consent. Why does she look so fucking excited thinking back on this?
I remember discussions about, first of all, who would ever have thought that we would have crisis standards of care discussions in the United States, putting two people on a ventilator at the same time, having primary care providers reaching out to their patients to say, should you come in, do you want to be ventilated? They were asking them to do that. We were having discussions. I remember when we received a handful of remdesivir, the earliest doses of remdesivir, and we had to make a decision as to who was going to get it.
The earliest decision. Remdesivir was called Run Death is Near by many nurses. Do I have enough of the reports to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that it was by and large a terrible, 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 terrible product? I've heard a lot of people say that when it was deployed, where was it? The Congo, Northern Africa, when it was used the last place during a big outbreak, it went horribly, 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 horribly wrong, according to some people. I specifically told the doctors to not give this to my brother, and they specifically told me they are in charge of the care, and there's no room to change the standardized care protocol that came upon high from Fauci et al. You don't get to pick and choose. You get remdesivir and you like it. It's what some nurses called Run Death is Near. Look at the track record of who that actually helped. There's a lot of people out there that say a lot of not complimentary things about that. Remdesivir. There's not a one-size-fits-all approach to medicine. Blocking hydroxychloroquine, blocking ivermectin, forcing remdesivir, blocking monoclonal antibodies. Ghoulish. Demonic.
A handful of remdesivir, the earliest doses of remdesivir, and we had to make a decision as to who was going to get it. I remember issues related to clinical trials. There were so many clinical trials early on that were ongoing, but how do you even triage what clinical trial is presented to a patient? And then how do they make a decision about informed consent when they're by themselves and on a ventilator in the ICU, right? I remember discussions about, first of all, who would ever, when they're by themselves, and then how do they make a decision about informed consent when they're by themselves and on a ventilator in the ICU?
Yeah, ha, ha, ha. They're by themselves in a ventilator in ICU. Fuck you. Yeah, what we were told by the hospital where my brother ended up is that's the treatment you're going to get, and that's the only treatment we're allowed to give, and we're not allowed to do the Merrick protocol. No, we can't administer ivermectin. No, we're not going to do this. No, we can't find monoclonal antibodies. No, we're not going to do that. You think I ever want to go anywhere fucking near a hospital ever again in my life? Ever. Yeah. I've said before, I'd probably rather die in a ditch than ever go back to a hospital. Take me out, take me out. I don't ever want to be anywhere near these monsters that did nothing to help my brother.
Patients. And then how do they make a decision about informed consent when they're by themselves and on a ventilator in the ICU, right?
Hilarious. By themselves on a ventilator in the ICU.
And when they're by themselves and on a ventilator in the ICU, right?
You know, because they're on a ventilator in the ICU, right?
make a decision about informed consent when they're by themselves and on a ventilator in the ICU, right?
Rochelle Walensky. All right. I think that's a good place to tap out for today. Yes, Marion, this country is so screwed up. You are correct. But we're trying to connect the dots, put out the puzzle pieces, talk about all the important things that are happening. Thank you very much for being here today. I may or may not do a sports show. That last story took a lot out of me. It just gave me fucking flashbacks. Ugh. It only bothers me when I think about it. So anyway. Yeah, I need to... Would have been better if I had something funny to end my day on. But nothing funny about Rochelle Walensky and what they did to all of us. She is sick with her laughter. And maybe it's an uncomfortable laughter. I know, I get it. And it's like, I'm in an impossible spot. I got to get informed consent. They're on a ventilator. I can't give consent. Like, how do you... I don't know. It's like crazy, right? That's what you would call zero bedside manner. I think that's zero bedside manner at the least. But Rochelle Walensky is a real piece of work. Click on Adam Carolla. Listen to him going off on her. She deserves every piece of bullshit. Every piece of... she deserves everything that she gets. She was awful. Amy Acton in Ohio running for governor up against Vivek Ramaswamy. Oh, she's terrible. Thanks, Lake Leon. Prayers. Appreciate you. Marion, I can tell. So sorry for the loss of your brother. Yep, me too. Thank you. Ugh. Just think of the green hat lady. Let's see if Grok can grab me. Get me an X clip link for the green hat lady we kept playing on yesterday's TNAM Daily Show. Let's see if Grok can tell me who the green hat lady. Oh, no, they're giving me something different. I don't know what's happening there. I said green hat lady, but I'm not getting... Nope. Not the right green hat lady. Nope. Grok doesn't know who I'm talking about. Oh, well, we got to go back and find her name. But I did think of her, and it did make me laugh, so that's for the win. Oh, shit, you remembered Frederica Wilson from Florida. Oh, Lord. Okay. Frederica Wilson, X clips. A fiery rant on Trump? Okay. Oh, here she's a red hat lady. Is she going to be awesome here? Ooh.
Nation.
Oh, man. She's still got that distinctive voice. Oh, I don't know if I can do it.
One. I am from Miami, Florida.
I'm Miami, Florida.
And I represent the largest.
Haitian
community in the nation. My next door neighbors are Haitians. The people across the street are Haitian. My son-in-law is Haitian. So you know that I am disturbed.
Oh, we know you are disturbed. So you know I am disturbed.
The people across the street are Haitian. So you know that I am disturbed.
Yes, we know you are disturbed.
Is Haitian. So you know that I am disturbed.
Man, fancy hats. And look at that brooch. That is, that's fantastic. That's friggin' huge. Green hat lady. Wasn't that a hit by Sugarloaf? Green hat lady. Yeah. All right, people. Thank you for being here. I'm going to sign out for today. I might come back and do a sports show talking Cleveland Browns. Let me double check on that as I fight off this sneeze that just hit me. I don't know. Wait, I can't. Mute button for the win. Mute button for the win. Okay. I'm going to sign off for now. Thank you, everybody. We are so listening to her. Yeah, we need to just keep playing her. In schools. I remember her talking about schools. That was pretty great. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Remember, Rumble Rants, Super Chat's available out there. If you want to throw something into the tip jar, consider subscribing on Patreon or Rumble or YouTube as a monthly thing, as well as Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal if you want to throw something in the collection plate that we pass around. Not to be sacrilegious or nothing, but it's a collection plate. It's a tip jar. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I'm going to sign out for now. Be back again tomorrow. Marion Cook says, bless you. I'll take that for sneezing and for life in general. Bless you and bless you. So, signing out for everybody out there in the TNAM universe. I appreciate you. I love you. And we will talk to you again soon. Take care, everybody. Peace.
Your guide to the truth. TheNewAmericanMedia.com.